times of trouble. It says further in verse 29, he makes the storm to calm, so that the waves are still and quiet. And they are glad because they have become quiet. So he brings them unto their desired haven. God is in the tempest. He is in the storms of life. In this particular chapter, in verse 24, it says, they see the works of the Lord, and in the wonders of the deep, he is involved. It says further that he raises the winds and he causes the storm. But he also says in verse 29 that he brings them out of their distresses. So we know that each and every one of us go through times of storm, storms, different categories of storm. And we often ask ourselves why. Why should we have to go through these troubles and troublous times? When we look at the situation in the world today, we find that the storm of the so-called COVID-19 has affected the entire world. And in some cases, it has been so devastating that it has destroyed lives. It has taken lives. It has destroyed businesses. It has destroyed families. And so we ask ourselves, where is God in this storm? Well, the Bible gives us an answer concerning who God is in the storms of life. And then there's Paul. I want to, just before we carry on, I want you to turn to 2 Corinthians chapter 11. And from verse 23 to 28, we see Paul discusses his personal distresses in the storms of his life. And in verse 24, it says the following. This is catastrophic if you think about the type of life that Paul experienced daily. He went through these things on a daily basis. Verse 24 says, the Jews flogged him 5 times with 39 stripes to his back. Well, that works out to 195 stripes on his body at different times, in different seasons. Verse 25, the very next verse, says, he was beaten with rods 3 times. They stoned him once and left him for dead. The Bible says in verse 25, 3 times he was left because of shipwreck. He was in shipwreck. He was left out in the deep, in the sea, floating around for 24 hours, a night and a day. Verse 26, he says he was in perils in the sea often, due to many missionary journeys he had to make in his ministry. He was in perils of robbers. He was in perils of his own countrymen. He was in perils of unbelievers and of the heathen. He was in perils in the city where he lived. He was in perils in the wilderness. He was in perils in the sea. He was in perils among false brethren. Think about that. In the churches where he was involved in ministry, there were people who were false and came against him and worked against him. Verse 27, he says, in weariness and in painfulness and in watchings often, in other words, sleepless nights, many sleepless nights. He says in hunger and thirst. He says without food very often. He says in cold and in nakedness. Verse 28, he says, and besides all of this, these natural storms and emotional storms of his life, he says, I also had the daily pressures of the care of all the churches. Think about that. That's Paul, one man. And yet he's a man, the only man in the entire Bible, that said, if you want to follow Jesus Christ, follow me, because I follow Jesus Christ. So when we look at Paul's life and we ask, but God, where were you in all of this? You know what Paul says? He says, I glory in my afflictions. I glory in what I had to go through. He says, because when I am weak, then in God I am strong. People experience storms in different ways. Some people will give up, they will quit, and they will allow the storms to overwhelm them and even destroy them. There are other people, however, who will stand against the storm. They will fight against the storm, knowing that God in their lives is able to do far more than what we ask or think. Now, we all go through storms of life. And through faith, God is able to overcome if we believe what his word says. We need to trust God and truly understand and know that it's not just about knowing who God is, about God, but to know God through a personal relationship. When we ask ourselves the questions, where is God in my situation? You know, I battled for years with a certain verse of scripture. The verse is Romans chapter 8 and verse 28. It is actually good news, but it is extremely difficult to work out in your life. Because the words of this verse are as follows. It says, all things. We know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are called according to his purpose. So here we understand in this verse, this is God's word. One thing we are absolutely sure of and positive of is the fact that we have an anchor. We have an anchor in every storm of life, whether it's a natural storm, whether it's a emotional storm, or whether it's a spiritual storm. This is our anchor, God's holy word. God says according to his word, kings and kingdoms will come and go. They will pass away. But he says, my word will never pass away. So we have an anchor in our lives, and we need to make this word a reality in our hearts. We need to know who God is, and not just know about God, but know who he is in our lives. So as I come to a close this morning, I want to point out that there are natural storms, as we all know. We all can be affected by natural storms, such as hurricanes or tornadoes or rainstorms, hailstorms, floods, and so on and so on. But then there's such a thing as the emotional storm that can be extremely devastating to individuals' lives because they affect the very core of the human heart and soul. And often they cause people to lose hope. Now, if we lose hope, we will never have faith. In die Afrikaans wil ek sê, die baarmoeder van geloof is hoop. Sonder hoop kan ek nie geloof hê nie. Without hope, I can never have faith. So never lose hope. But some people do. And that results in rejection. It results in brokenness of spirit. And it even results, in some cases, in suicide. So where is God? Well, God is right there. He's promised us he will never leave us nor forsake us. You see, either we reject what he says, or we take hold of what he says, make it ours, and believe that God is able to do far more than what we ask or even think. And then the third type of storm is a spiritual storm. Now this can come in two ways, and many times we promote this type of storm in our own lives. We are the reason for a type of spiritual storm in our lives due to disobedience. Very often we disobey God. We choose our own way. We leave God out of our lives and we want to do our own thing. And God says we must first seek the kingdom of God. What is the kingdom of God? It is righteousness, peace, and joy in the Holy Ghost. Soek eers die koninkryk van God. En daarna sal alle ander dinge bygevoeg word, sê die Here. So the people put the cart before the horse. And they want the things in their life first. They want their own things first. And then one day maybe, if there's time for God, they'll put him in their lives. God says no. Seek first the kingdom. Seek first God. So we can bring this spiritual storm due to disobedience. We bring it upon ourselves. Or Satan can be the instigator of spiritual storms. Because the Bible tells us he is bent, Satan is bent on robbing, killing, and destroying people's lives. Jesus himself said, Satan has come to rob, to kill, and to destroy. He says, but Jesus says, I have come to give life more abundantly. Paul experienced all these storms, the natural, the emotional, and the spiritual in his life. And we can also experience the same. But the good news, as I said earlier on, is that God says in his word, we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and who are called according to his purpose. That verse requires personal relationship with God. Our anchor holds, regardless of the storm. God says, I will never leave you. I will never desert you. I will never fail you. Even in this situation in the world right now that has changed countries, that has changed our lifestyle due to this COVID pandemic, we want to thank God that he is able to deliver us. And I want to pray today that God will continue to keep his hand upon each and every one of our lives, that the counselors would find counsel from the Almighty God, that we as individuals, and especially in South Africa, that the church would return to God and seek God's face for the answers for this land and for this country, and that the church would come to repentance and return to the Almighty God. For the word of God tells us in 2 Chronicles 7 verse 14, if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, will seek my face, will turn from their wicked ways, and will pray to God, he says, I will hear from heaven and I will heal the land. I want to pronounce this blessing upon you all and upon this country. The Lord bless you. The Lord keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you. The Lord lift up his countenance over your lives and give you his peace that passes understanding. Amen and amen. God bless you.
Pastor Willie, just 1 second, please. Pastor Willie, like every time before, this was a privilege this morning to listen to you, to accept a sermon. I had a few things that bothered me, and I came to the decision I cannot impress God. God's hand is there. Put your hand in his, and you will be fine. So I am fine. I am, when I am Peter, bump into one another in the passages, we always talk about the religion and how lucky I am to be part of Jesus Christ.
Praise
Thank you, and do come again. I'll give you a tinkle some other time for one of these very, very passionate words you brought to us this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You can either stay a while with me, and I will, seeing that we've got a guest in the circle this morning, I would advise you to stay a little longer, and then whenever you think it's time to go, you're welcome to do so.
Thank you so much.
Councillors, I've received absence from all the lady raters. She won't be here this morning. She don't feel good this morning. And I haven't heard about Councillor Bandesi and Councillor Comfort. So scribe, please make a note of that one. And I saw, and when we were, you were going up and down and see who's there and who's not. Thank you very much for that one. I want to go on with the next one. Disclosure of interest in terms.
Speaker, I'm in.
Yes.
I'm on. I'm on, Speaker Bandesi.
Councillor Bandesi, yeah. In future, please put up your hand. I don't want to be interrupted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Speaker. Okay.
I'm back at disclosure of interest in terms of Schedule 1 Code of Conduct for councillors in terms of the local Municipal Systems Act.
Speaker,
2000. Raadslid Kamfer, asseblief as jy nie 'n manier het, jy vra iemand om vir jou te help.
Ek het maniere. Ek het maniere. Jy vir my maniere te leer.
Wanneer die speaker praat, bly jy stil, en as ek stil bly, dan gee jy vir my 'n aanduiding, jy wil met my praat en ek sal vir jou dit geleentheid gee. Anyone on for disclosure of interest in terms of Schedule Code of Conduct for councillors? Is there any councillor that can be linked to one of these points on the agenda this morning? It's now time to put up your hand.
Good morning, Speaker. Councillor van Dijk. I would like to recuse myself with regards to item 41, and I will join the meeting thereafter once it's done. Thank you, Speaker.
Noted. Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else? If there's nobody, we go.
Comfort.
Ja, Raadslid Comfort.
Ja, ek wil my verskoon as 'n item speaker. Die laaste item van my is op die agenda.
Ja, kan iemand my net reghelp? Wat is die nommer van dat?
E45.
E45, Councillor Council will recuse himself. Anyone else? Dan gaan ons aan na scribes na 5 toe asseblief. Well, that one is a disclosure. It's not on my screen yet, but this is the disclosure of any one of our officials that can be linked to one of these points on the agenda. It's time to draw my attention on that one. Dankie, Teresa. If there's no one, I think we will go on. I'm at Romans 6, I think. Confirmation and signing of previous council minutes. I will go through it, and if there is something you want to put up your hand and say something about it, have something altered, then you're welcome. I'll go slow. Minutes ordinary council meeting held on Thursday, the 26th of November 2020. Folio numbers 1486A up till 2440. Anything in that part that you want to, that you might think it's not right, or if it's wrong, you can give me attention to that? No one on that?
My hand is up.
I'm sorry, I haven't scrolled up. Alderman Groenewald, you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Speaker. No, it's just a note under E220 on pages 2250 to 2279. The recusal of the municipal manager and his directors is also minuted under that item, and it belongs to it is noted under the next item, but it should just be removed. Otherwise, it would look like as if they were also recusing themselves on that specific item on E220. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Scribe, do you have it? No answer, so I take it as a yes. Minutes of the special council meeting held on Monday, the 7th of December 2020, folios number 24408 up till 2488. Anyone that have something on that minutes?
Yes, please, Speaker.
Alderman
If
Groenewald
you allow
again?
me.
I do
Thank
so.
you, Speaker. I refer to pages 2465 to 2467 under E239 of the special council meeting held on the 7th of December. The same problem lies there, that note also be removed and only appear in the next item where they do have interest in municipal manager and his directors. Thank you, Speaker.
It seems to me there was a duplication. Thank you, Alderman. The next one, minutes special council meeting held on Friday, the 14th of January 2021. Folio numbers 2488A up till 3. And I think that's where the problem starts. It's all the 3 of those have got the same numbers, of almost the same numbers. Anyone on that one? Okay, that one goes through. Minutes of the special council meeting held on Friday, the 28th of January. Folios number 38 up till 83. That right? Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the correctness of this minutes?
I propose Speaker, Councillor Leon van Dijk.
Proposed by Councillor Leon van Dijk. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second Speaker, Councillor Kannemeyer.
Thank you, Councillor Kannemeyer. Then we can go on. Can you please go up a little while, scribe? Yeah, thank you. I think that one is Roman 7. Cognizance, executive mayors and deputy executive mayors resolutions in terms of delegated authority as provided in section 59(1)A of the Act on Local Government Municipal Systems. That's Act 32 of 2000. I bring to you the items. Item number FC1 of 02-2021 up till FC10 of 02-2021. Items number G1 of 02-2021 up till G4 of 02-2021. Absolute silence. The next one, please don't move the screen. Items number CSI 02-2021 to CH3 02 of 2021. Next one's items number PE1 of 02-2021 to PE23 to 02-2021. The next one is TI 02-2021 to T5 of 02-2021. Items number CG1 of 02-2021 up till CG02 of 2021. Items number UB117 of 11-2020 up till UB102-2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the correctness of these items?
Speaker, I'll propose Mark Furness.
Thank you, Councillor Mark Furness is the proposer. Seconder?
Good morning, Speaker. I will second.
Seconded by Councillor Anton Delamain. Thank you, councillors. Then cognizance of municipal manager resolutions in terms of delegated authority as per council resolution. That's E127 of 11/2008 as provided for in section 59(1)A of the Act on Local Government Municipal Systems. That's Act 32 of 2000 again. I bring to you GM48 of 11/2020 to GM8 of February 2021. Is there anyone on that one? No
Yes,
one. Can
thank
I
you,
have
Speaker.
Alderman Groenewald? Yes.
Thank you, Speaker. We take note with thanks of those resolutions adopted. Thank you.
Thank you. It was proposed by Councillor Alderman Groenewald. Can I have a seconder for that one?
Thank you, Speaker. I will second.
Seconded by Councillor Anton Delamain. Can we go up a little? Thank you. Then this morning we have let me start at first. Our Executive Mayor, Alderman Harry Levendahl, is on sick leave for 3 months. He's recovering well. I received more emails and WhatsApps in the last week as in the weeks before. That shows me he's on the route to total fitness again. And I hope that if you're listening, Alderman Levendahl, that you will be with us soon. Then in our midst, as we, if you don't want to do anything, you ask the Deputy Mayor. Please do it. He never refuses anything you put on his shoulder. Sometimes he reminds me of Atlas, who took the whole world on his shoulder. So it's up to you, Mayor, to bring your way of thinking and the lady next door to promote her. The floor is yours. I just want to mute my microphone. You can go on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, colleagues. Good morning to all. Firstly, we mourn the passing of our friend and late Councillor Danny Simon. May his soul rest in peace, and our heartfelt condolences once again to his family and loved ones. Mossel Bay Executive Mayor Alderman Harry Levendahl is allowed to rest and recuperate at home, and I'm sure that we all wish him a full recovery. I take this opportunity to wish Alderman Levendahl Godspeed and express my heartfelt wishes that he returns to the office with new vigor and full of energy. Considering the devastating effect of COVID-19 on our town and country, the need to take care of one's health and that of the people around us is amplified. I urge every councillor and employee of the Mossel Bay Municipality to continue with preventative care protocols. Let's lead by example by wearing face masks correctly, maintaining safe social distances, and comply with all the necessary protocols so that we all will hopefully avoid the much talked about third wave of the coronavirus. We are all aware of the devastating effect that the pandemic has wreaked on our local and national economies. We must do all we possibly can to bolster our local businesses, and my plea is that we will continue to buy locally and support our local businesses. The Office of the Mayor has been rather busy over the past few weeks, and I would like to provide feedback and inform the Council of some of what has transpired. I am happy to announce that the Tusong Centre Sewing Project will officially be launched this afternoon. This initiative will allow the beneficiaries to become skilled in sewing and earn a living by doing so. More detail of this project will follow in the days to come. All councillors are welcome to attend this official opening this afternoon at the Asla Community Hall at 3 o'clock. As you all may be aware, there is a lot of rumour mongering on the future of PetroSA, one of the largest employers in the Greater Mossel Bay area. PetroSA has contributed to the economy through its Centre of Excellence, where numerous locals have been trained and through their corporate social investment projects. Mossel Bay today boasts schools, community halls, and the seawater desalination plant due to the generous contributions of PetroSA. We recently held discussions with PetroSA representatives to establish and assess their current situation. I'm happy to report that PetroSA is looking at ways to mitigate and the decline in production due to depleting gas reserves. We will remain in close contact with PetroSA as one of our main stakeholders. The Western Cape Multi-Centre in Marsh Street, now housing several provincial government departments, was officially opened following upgrades to the value of almost 60 million rand. This historic building has degraded into an ugly duckling before it was renovated into a facility that our community can again be proud of. The new inhabitants of this building will bring new feet and possible economic benefits to the old town centre. Several elements of the old high school hostel were retained, yet the revamped building now boasts a new facade and built-for-purpose interior. I thank both the local architect, Elaine Lamb, for her sterling contribution to the renovations and the teams responsible for the upgrade. The multi-purpose centre was recently officially opened by the Western Cape MEC for Transport and Public Works, Minister Bongongozi Madikizela. I thank the department for their sizable investment that contributed handsomely to the revitalization of the Mossel Bay Business Centre district. Sadly, this council and municipality recently had to bid farewell to Eric Giagini, a member of the staff who progressed through the ranks from being a general worker to one of our senior electricians. I extend my condolences to his wife, family, friends, and co-workers. May his soul rest in peace. In the past year, this municipality had to say farewell to several valued employees, and we honor their contribution to our society and will always fondly remember them. I'm going to mention the few people that this municipality have sadly lost, and that was Mr. A. Ntonti, who passed away on 26 January, Mr. P. Mossala on 30 June 2020, Mr. M. Recha at 18 July, Mr. D. Prince 31 August, J. Claassen 14 October, Ms. Sanda Ben 1 January, also Mr. Peter Myberg, our engineer, 15 January, and E. Giagini on 1 February. Council and I also honor the memory of the 209 Mossel Bay residents who has succumbed to COVID-19 since the pandemic has first detected in South Africa in 2029. Then on a lighter note, I want to boast about the exemplary matrics exam results that one of our past junior town councillors, Megan Roberts, she's also visiting us here today, and obviously that's a bit of a surprise to all of you, so we've invited Megan. She served also as a junior town council member during 2019-2020. Megan has earned distinctions in all of her subjects. She is a worthy ambassador of the municipality, her school, and also her family. And I'm just going to ask you all to say hi to Megan. I'm going to switch on my camera. There you go, Megan. Very welcome to Council this morning. And I just want to congratulate you on behalf of Council. And I would just like to ask you, what was your biggest challenge throughout your matric year?
My grootste uitdaging was om reg te kom sonder my onderwyser, sonder my mede-klasmaats wat ook as motivering gedien het. En om alleen te wees in 'n kamer onder druk vol werk, en dit was my baie maklik om verlore te raak onder die druk. Soos pastoor ook gepraat het van die emosionele storms waarmee soms deurgaan. Maar gelukkig het die skool my die nodige ondersteuning gegee, die kerk het my nodige ondersteuning gegee. En ek kan net sê, deur geloof het ek daar hier gekom, deur ondersteuning van my familie, deur ondersteuning van my vriende en ja.
Daar's hy. Baie dankie. En wat gaan jy swat?
Jy kan wees daar, meneer.
We're going in Stellenbosch. Well, good luck, and we hope to hear from you soon and to brag about you. Daar's hy. Speaker, ek's amper klaar. Likewise, I would like also to congratulate the class of 2020 for their hard work despite the detrimental influence of COVID-19 of their final school year. These young adults now face the challenges of a declining economy and the unprecedented unemployment rate in South Africa. I therefore urge all local businesses to reach out as much as possible to our youth and to provide them with the stepping stones necessary to make a success of the rest of their lives. Recently, a meeting was held with the principals of all the secondary schools. We wrote a letter to the Western Cape MEC of Education, Minister Debbie Schaffer, to alert her with a dire shortage of available school accommodation for learners in our secondary and high schools. We trust that the Provincial Department of Education will address the situation as a high priority in the coming year. My office also wrote to the Provincial MEC of Social Development, Minister Shana Fernandez, about the escalating problems with homelessness in Mossel Bay. A meeting with her and representatives of her department will be taking place tomorrow, 26 February. I can also report that the municipality again met with the respective pig farmers of Kwanangaba, and that positive cooperation is forthcoming as we work towards a long-term solution. We met also with a high-ranking official of the Department of Safety Dogs, or DOCS, about a permanent SAPS presence in Herbertsdale, and also about the condition of the Kwanangaba police station. This is an issue that's been dragging on now for years. The municipality raised our concerns about the matter, and that has been dragging on for years, like I've mentioned, and yeah, hopefully this will not turn into an intergovernmental dispute, but if there's no other way, unfortunately, we will have to look into that. You may have read in the media about the Memorandum of Understanding entering into the Garden Route District Municipality on various outstanding matters. The Memorandum of Understanding signed on Tuesday was to rectify the registration details of several properties erroneously still registered in the name of the old divisional councils. A key result of this MOU is that the Garden Route District Municipality fire base will relocate to Mossel Bay. The new Garden Route District Municipality fire base will be strategically better positioned to combat wildfires in the district. The district's farthest point to the west from Mossel Bay is Witstrand, which is approximately 150 kilometers from the proposed new base, and on the other side it's Plettenberg Bay at approximately 140 kilometers. Then service delivery outreach. It is my privilege to launch a mayoral committee service delivery outreach program. This program intends to involve the mayoral committee members directly in outreach initiatives to address service delivery problems in all of our respective wards. This exciting program aims to ensure an even greater emphasis on the service delivery excellence that Mossel Bay Municipality is renowned for. It also gives me great pleasure to announce that we are looking into an employee excellence program. Mossel Bay Municipality's employees work exceptionally hard to maintain our record of service delivery. This municipality is regularly hailed as the example of local government that works for all of its people. However, few of the staff received due recognition for the extra efforts that FEED requires. The employee excellence program will not merely identify the employees going to the extra mile to make this municipality the best in the country, but will also allow us as councillors to thank and congratulate them for their exemplary service at monthly council meetings. It is time that our employees are awarded for due recognition, and their family and friends should also be able to share in the accolades afforded to them for the extra effort that they take in maintaining Mossel Bay as the best run local government in South Africa. I would like to apologize to our farmers in the rural communities for the current state of gravel roads in our district. It is a matter of grave concern that we must have taken up with the district mayor at this stage, and we've did that. And at this stage, I would also like to thank the MM for the letter that he sent to the minister, clearly stating our concerns. Funding for the upkeep of these roads come from the provincial budget, where we need to compete against the needs and priorities of the whole province. This matter is receiving attention, and I will personally also ask Mayor Boysen that we go and see MEC Bongakosi Matikizela. Lastly, I would like to announce that Mr. Fernando Fredericks have accepted our job offer. He will start employment at Mossel Bay Municipality as the CFO on 1 March. As we are already preparing for the 21-22 municipal budget, we want to give our community the assurance that this council will keep the current financial situation and cost-saving measures in mind. I thank you very much, Speaker.
Thank you, Mayor, for the kind words you brought to our guest on your right-hand side, and to the better of the news that you brought to our people in the town. Everyone is talking about the budget and the budget speech that we've heard yesterday. And yeah, there are some positive things there, as in our budget, and it's a struggle to let ends meet. So thank you very much, everyone that was part of that. Megan, hulle sê 10% van die bevolking is slim. Die ander is net gemiddeld en af. Jy is een van die uitgesoekte 10% in die wêreld. Dit is, ons het gehoor van die godsgawe wat ons kry. Jy is geseën met 'n godsgawe, maar jy moet ook net omkyk, agter jou sit 'n man wat hard gewerk het om jou daar te bring, en daar by die huis is 'n ma wat hard gewerk het om jou hier te bring. Aan julle drie en aan julle gesin bring ons al die gelukwense, en ons wens dat jy die beste pad sal kies en die beste sal maak van die pad wat jy gekies het. Maar jy moet onthou, ons wil graag jou sien in die koerante, ons wil hoor van jou en ons wil gegroet wees as jy hier kom, of ons te kom sê, ja, dit gaan met jou goed. Mag die Here jou seën op die pad wat jy gekies het. Baie dankie. Pastor Willie, thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity. And I trust God will continue to lead and guide you people with great knowledge and insight and wisdom in the affairs of
the country and of Mossel Bay in particular.
Thank you very much. Terwyl ons gaste die saal verlaat, die minder aangename, maar eers die meer aangename. Councillor Ron had his birthday on the 24th of January. Alderman Bayman had his birthday on the 25th of January. Councillor Bobello had a birthday on the 1st of February. And Councillor Marilyn Kallemeyer had her birthday on the 13th of February. Congratulations to all four of you. I hope you had a wonderful day and you will have a wonderful year in the coming 2021. Thank you very much. And then
Speaker.
Yes.
Sorry,
Sir.
Speaker. I'm sorry to intervene. I'm not that lucky that I can have my birthday on payday, Speaker. So in fact, my birthday is before payday, so that there must just be a correction. I was born on the 22nd of January, not the 24th. Thank you, Speaker.
22nd. Yeah, I would have asked you for a loan, but now you brought some bad news to me. I'll have it fixed. Thank you, Cliffy.
By minute ook 'n manier in die Speaker.
Kan ons gaan asseblief? Ek is by die sterftelys. I've got a huge list of people that passed on during the last few months. Like I think around about 2 months now. And we know what happened with the death of people that was taken on by the virus. I'm not sure. I think in the Mossel Bay vicinity it was more than 100. Every one of these people has, well, they in the valley of no pain anymore. But I want you to please bow your head for the people that went passed on and for the families that were left behind. So in a few seconds or minutes, or a minute, can you please bow your head? Thank you, Councillor. We honor those who passed on, and we will definitely remember them. Can we go on to the agenda, please? I haven't received any questions, written questions, so I'll skip that one, and I'll take you to E11. Expansion of Traffic and Law Enforcement Department Directorate Protection Services. Councillors, I know it was a long menu in front of you. This agenda, I hope you went through it and you will participate in what will be on the table. On the table now, E11, suspension of traffic and law enforcement. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one?
Speaker, the class motion I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Nicholas Boysen. Seconder?
Speaker, Councillor Leon.
Councillor Baron, second.
Thank you. There was two people that was talking at the same time. The best one came out as Councillor Baron. Thank you, Councillor Baron. Can we go on to E? Is there anyone who want to say something on E11?
Speaker, if I
Yes,
might.
Speaker, it's Councillor Fox. I do have my hand raised.
Okay, seeing that you're a lady, I'll give you the chance to speak on E11. And then afterwards, it will be Councillor Leon. Councillor Gous, you can go on.
Thank you. The ACDP just wants to affirm our support for the employment of more law enforcement officers, Speaker, and we'd also like to thank the directorate responsible for this initiative. We are appreciative of the fact that they are forward thinking and they are looking to assist not only, as the item says, in actual safety, but the perception of safety. I know that in the past we've placed a lot of, I want to say, pressure on our law enforcement officers because of the lack of assistance with more officers. So this is very welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Councillor Leon, you were next on the list.
Speaker, just a cosmetic one. If we could change or rectify the directorate's naming it Protection Services to Community Safety, if I may. Thank you, Speaker.
Tershad, have you taken note of that one? I assume that she said yes. Thank you, councillors. Can we go on? Then E11 is unanimous vote, and thank you those people who boosted the traffic and law enforcement. We know that those people are always on the front of people that want to abuse them or bribe them. And I'm glad to say bribery is not any actions of bribery was done in Mossel Bay. You must remind yourself when someone tried to bribe an officer in Mossel Bay, he was charged for another offense, and that was trying to bribe. Thank you very much, councillors. We on E12, service level agreement, Mossel Bay Municipality.
Order, Speaker.
Councillor, can you use your hand? It will be much easier for me. Councillor, jy kan maar praat.
Ek wil net sê, ek probeer hierso en ek het nou die IT gebel en hier is hier ding op die ding om my hand op te sit. Hulle sê hulle weet nie wat gebeur het nie. Maar in elk geval, Speaker, ek wil net vra die poste van die verkeer, is dit klaar geadverteer of gaan dit nou geadverteer word?
Raadslid, ek dink ek het gepraat van 10%. Service 11th agreement, any people that have to be, well, they must first apply and then we must decide on it. This first one is to pave the road to do that. It's not any people that have been appointed or whatever. So no, your answer on the question is no.
Okay, thank you.
Speaker.
Councillor Buddha.
Speaker, please, can you tell every councillor we convey this meeting in English, please. They must continue using English in this meeting. Please, Speaker, thank you.
Seeing that you're so good in Afrikaans, you can interpret in the committee room, and that's with a tongue in the cheek. Thank you, Councillor Buddha. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's do it in English. E12, is there anyone else that wants to say something about it? Service level agreement. The names of the second, for the proposer and the name of the seconder for this E12, please.
Speaker, I will propose Mark Furness.
E12 proposed by Councillor Mark Furness. Can I have a seconder on that one?
I would like to support and second this item, Speaker.
Alderman Bayman. Is there anyone against? No one against? No. Then my ruling is that E12 of 02/2021 carries through as an unanimous vote in the decision of this council. Thank you, councillors. Next one. Southern Cape Initiative, establishing an industrial area in Mossel Bay and collective efforts, and that's E13 of 02/2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that I can open it on table, put it on the table? E13. E13 is proposed by Alderman Potser. Thank you. Can I have a seconder for that one?
Thank you, Speaker. I'll second the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Barney is the seconder. Any discussion or something you want to bring to the table?
Speaker, my hand is raised.
Just 1 second, please.
Councillor Gous.
Yeah. Okay. Now I was reminded that your hand is up, Councillor Gous. You may take the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. The ACDP just would like to note that they will abstain on this item.
I think you must refrain on and rethink of what you said. There wasn't a vote on it, so if you would abstain, you might, I might not put the right thing on table. So you can, you better in English than I am. What will be the better one then? You can put your name against it, that you're not voting, or there will not be a vote. But abstention is something else. It's when there's a vote on table and you decide not to vote.
Yes, Speaker. Unfortunately, I'm not able to. If our secretariat could perhaps just move the item along to the recommendation. If I remember correctly, this item did not say just for cognizance.
He said that it be noted that Van der Walt continuing his initiative in his personal capacity and no longer as a representative of Sobana Jurong, and approval be granted to the municipal manager to continue with engaging and supporting this initiative and to share and discuss certain relevant documents in support thereof, which documents are in the possession of the municipality. That's the whole story.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. That's the way I remember it. From my experience, or what I can recall regarding this item, is we've never seen the working document. I understand that this was a resolution taken outside of council, and this is now being presented to us without having received any other documentation. So I can note that Mr. Van der Walt is continuing with the initiative, and that approval be granted to the municipal manager to continue with engaging and supporting this initiative. But we are not fully aware of exactly what this initiative is.
Anyone else? Is there another hand somewhere? Municipal manager?
Speaker, thank you for allowing me to speak on this item. Speaker, yes, it would seem that the ACDP is not opposed to the item, if I understand the member correctly. As to the information pertaining to what this is about, I think that it's difficult to put everything into an item. That's quite challenging to do that. But the member is always, as we usually say in council, is always welcome to have a cup of coffee on this item.
Yeah, thank you, MM. I'm of the opinion that talking to someone straighten every skew and possibility of misunderstanding. Thank you for the invite. May I have a piece of a cup of that coffee as well when you offer it? Councillor Gous, is there anything else?
Speaker? Yes. Thank you, Speaker. The MM understands me correctly, and I would like to take up the opportunity to find out more about this item. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Then E13 will go on an unanimous vote with the exception of Councillor Gous, who signed a name against it. Thank you. Councillors, I thought I will not go into this earlier, but I have to tell you about it. There's something going on. We've now almost a year doing virtual meetings, and still there's some people that don't abide to the rules of order. And Councillor Comfort, you can bring your tablet to me that we can see if there must be a hand on your tablet that we see if we can locate it and help you with that one. And then the other thing is I've noticed that letters was written to the officials bypassing the chairs of the committees, and I want to plead by you. And this one, the first one is a plea. The next one will be a hiding, and I don't want to deliver hidings. I would like you to bring to under the notice of Rule 66, provision of information under the attention. You are kindly requesting to adhere to this rule. That's rule number 66, and that means you must use means and ways that you're welcome to ask questions at the first time. But let the questions run to the committee chairs and not to the officials. Enough said of that. I think you will abide with that one, and I thank you for that. E14, Appointment Disciplinary Board, Local Government Municipal Finance Management Act, number 56 of 2003, Municipal Regulations on Financial Misconduct, Procedures and Criminal Proceedings. It's a lot of words said. It was reported by the MM. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can open this E14?
Nicholas Boysen, I proposed.
Proposed by Councillor Nicholas Boysen. Seconder?
Councillor Leon van Dijk, Speaker. Seconding.
Seconded by Councillor Leon van Dijk. Thank you, councillors. Is there anyone against? I hear a no. Then E14 carried through as unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Next one, please. E50, Municipal Public Accounts Committee Impact Appointment of a Chairperson. We had this in a previous meeting, and we elected the chairperson for that meeting we had. And now it's for a permanent post up till I think that might be around about October, November, when the next election will take place. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the chair of Impact? Anyone? I was
Speaker.
aware that the whip should have bring in a name, but Councillor Buddha, have you got a name for me?
I've got a name, Speaker. Speaker, I propose Nosipho Bobele as the chairperson of MPAC, as she was acting now. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Buddha. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Speaker, I second the proposal also. Thank you.
Is that Councillor Annie?
That's Councillor Annie. I'm sorry, I was Councillor Annie speaking.
Seeing that we've had all parties, and I have another name, Councillor Groenewald. Are your hand up? Gous.
No, my apologies.
Thank you. Sorry, I made a mistake. Councillor Groenewald. Sorry, good. I'm totally confused. Councillor Gous. You're on the floor, Councillor.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the ACDP would once again, as we have done since the institution of this impact committee, we'd like to reiterate that we believe it's not a legitimate committee without full representation of all the parties in the council. And so, unfortunately, we will not be supporting the recommendation that Councillor Bibelo be chair, not because we have any issues with her being appointed, but simply because we believe that this committee should also represent ICOSA, the Freedom Front and the ACDP. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Scribe, can you please take note of that? E15 of 02/2021, seeing that I haven't had any. That's now the second time, Councillor?
Sorry, Speaker.
Okay, you can go on and I'll conclude my sentence after you speak, and I see Councillor Baron his hand is up as well. Councillor, at first, Councillor David.
No, I just want to say I fully support Councillor Gous, and as he said also, and I would say I have not a problem with Councillor Bibelo.
Councillors, do you want to put a counter proposal?
No, I don't want to put one on. I disagree with what and support Councillor Gous.
Okay, thank you very much. Councillor Baron.
Speaker, thank you. I don't think we can put on a counter proposal because it's just about the appointment of a chairperson. But I also support both ICOSA and the ACDP. The Freedom Front Plus is also not supporting the impact committee because we feel it's illegitimate without a representation of all the parties. Thank you, Speaker.
I don't have any counter proposals. E15 of 02/2021 carried through as an unanimous vote with the exception of the ACDP, ICOSA, and the Freedom Front Plus. Councillor Nossi, congratulations on the new post of impact. I know you will be on hands-on with that one, and may the good Lord be with you when you chair this meeting. Thank you very much, councillors. I'm at E16. Kan jy net so effens terug gaan the third adjustment budget.
Speaker, dis die item wat Vicky ingedra het vanoggend.
Tersia, sê net weer.
Speaker, dis die nuutste item van vanoggend.
Ek weet.
Ja, was so net gesê sy het met speaker daaroor gepraat, so dis die een wat ek nou voorlê.
Okay. Councillors, sorry for the Afrikaans conversation, but that's the one I do the best. On the screen is the third adjustment of budget 2020 to 2021 financial year operating and capital budget. Unfortunately, I think most of you have only received it by time we went to council. There was some additional things that happened on this screen now, and it's to the benefit of us. If I remember correct, there was I think more than 3 million that will be what that was found or put into another space to the benefit of the budget. And yeah, if there is any questions on this one, at first I want to propose and second that we can open this one. The number of it, Erika, Tertia? E16. E16 of 02/2021. Before we go any further, I want a proposer and a seconder that we can open this discussion on E16.
Speaker, I'll propose Mark Furness.
Thank you, Councillor Mark. You will be the proposer and a seconder.
I'll second, Speaker. Deputy.
Deputy Mayor will be the seconder. Then it's open. I know that's much asked of you on this short notice, and I see a hand. Can I just listen whose the hand is up?
Speaker, it's my hand, Director Nell.
Director, sorry man, I didn't recognize your hand, but I saw a hand at the +36 icon on my screen. Elise, you can go on.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to add 2 items to the adjustment budget. It is donations, or it's our prize-winning money of the Greenest Municipality of 2016. And the projects were completed during this financial year, and we received the amounts just a few minutes ago. And it must just be taken up in the adjustment budget to be shown as a donation. The detail I will give through to the budget office as well, but I just needed to be recorded that the ramp next to the AGS Church in Ward 9, the amount there is 717,887.39. 717,887 rand and 39 cents. That must be included in the capital budget under waste. And then the municipality also received 5 containers to the value of 152,375 rand, 152,375. 2 of the containers was for the environmental officer under Warren Manual, and 3 of the containers was for the waste section. These 2 items must just be included as donations in the adjustments budget to be reflected. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Nell. Vicky, are you online?
Yes, Speaker, I am.
Thank you, Vicky. You've heard what the director said, and I think you made notes of it. Is there anything you want to bring to the table before we put it onto the test?
Speaker,
Yes,
thank
Speaker.
you very much.
Councillor Buddha, I'll come back to you, but let Vicky Basson please give us some info on that one. Vicky, you've got the floor.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. I just want to firstly apologize that we only sent out the Schedule B document this morning, but I want to mention that we did have a workshop on the adjustment budget on the 15th of February, which full council was invited to. And I also just want to mention that from the information that we workshopped on the 15th of February, there was a few adjustments that was made to the adjustment budget. There was on the capital side, we needed to adjust the MIG grant projects. There was a gazette that national government has approved in end of January, where they reduced our MIG allocation with 401,000 rand. So we had to do adjustments to the capital projects in that regard. Then there was also other additional donated assets that we needed to bring into the budget on the capital side. And then there was a reduction in one of the projects of 100,000 for the Mossel Bay tourism route project. Then on the operational budget side, there was various adjustments, and I'm just going to highlight the biggest adjustment so that you can understand why the total surplus has now been adjusted to just over 19.2 million. There was adjustments to the depreciation budgets that was made. There was a duplicate entry for a specific month, and that was at over 3 million rand additional surplus to the budget. Obviously, we needed to adjust the revenue for the MIG grant and also for these donated assets that we are bringing in on the capital side. And then there was certain adjustments to the employee-related cost with regards to the FMG grant and also bonuses that was made. So that is just a highlight of the overall adjustments that was made after the workshop that we had, where we explained the full detail of the budget. Speaker, I'm in your hands. If you want me to explain or take the council through the Schedule B summary, yes, it's in your hands to say what I need to do.
How long will that take around about?
Speaker, I don't think it will take more than 15 minutes.
I think I'll allow you, Vicky, to go through it. Otherwise, there might be a lot of answers and you will have to speak for the 15 minutes as well. So I think you can, if you can put that on the screen, if it's possible, and then you go through it, the councillors can take note of it. Thank you, Vicky. While Vicky is waiting and try to put it on, Councillor Alderman Groenewald.
Yeah, thank you so much, Speaker, for recognizing me and giving me this opportunity. I said it on the 15th, and I would like to place it on record during this official council meeting as well. As I really would like to applaud and thank our Chairperson Finance, Councillor Furness, as well as the and Vicky and all staff involved. The workshop on the 15th was extremely thorough. It was helpful. It was informative. And we even were supplied by hard copies of some of us that requested that. And speaking of, I just wanted to place it on record our sincere thanks and appreciation for so much, for such commitment and excellent work. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman Groenewald. Vicky, you can go on.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to confirm whether you can all see the Schedule B summary.
I can see it, Vicky.
Okay. I'm just going to highlight this is the summary of what is all the adjustments to the budget. This is not just operational budget, capital budget. This is also a balance sheet and a cash flow budget. So you will see at the top, we are talking about the financial performance. So this is our operational budget. And you will see that from the prior adjusted budget, our total revenue has been adjusted from 1.187 million, and it's now been increased with a 20 million up to 1.2 billion. Sorry, it must be billion, 1.2 billion. And the biggest changes here is really on service charges, which is increased by 4.1%. And our interest on investment is decreased with 7.5 million. So that is the highlight of what is happening on the revenue side. Then on the expenditure side, there's just a summary. You will see that employee-related cost is reduced by almost 15 million. That is due to savings and vacant positions. And then in total, the expenditure is reduced with 45 million from a budget of 1.3 billion to 1.289 billion. The biggest changes here is due to cost containment measurements that's taken into account. A lot of cuts was made on the specific budgets like catering, consultant fees, things like that. And then there's also a reduction in the impairment for debtors of 33 million. That is the operational budget side. So you will see at the end, there's a surplus of 19.2 million shown on the operating budget. On the capital budget side, the budget is adjusted from a 244 million, that is the current approved budget, and it's increased with 8.5 million up to 252 million. If I can just highlight the biggest changes to the budget is there's the Dalmeida Stadium border that needs to be completed. That's one of the biggest changes. And then if I can just quickly go to the new request, you will see there's a lot of new donated assets like the Arts and Crafts Center, the ramp that Director Nellis talked about at the transfer station in Dalmeida, things like that. Then on the financial position side, now the financial position is the balance sheet statement. So this is our budgeted balance sheet. The major changes here is due to the changes of the opening balances from the previous year's financial statements. So we finalized the 1920 statements. We are now adjusting the budget with those closing balances. And obviously the changes in the operating and capital budget has an effect on the balance sheet. So at the top there you can see that our total equity has changed from 3 billion to 2.9 billion. On the cash flow side, you can see that we've budgeted for total cash and cash equivalents at the end of the year of 46 million. It's now reduced to 5.7 million. Again, all the changes in the operating and capital budget has an effect on how the cash flow is adjusted. Then there's a specific table on how the accumulated surplus account is used and whether we have a cash backed budget or not, a fully funded budget as National Treasury calls it. And on this table, you can clearly see that we still have a surplus of 166 million after this adjustment as budget has been taken into account. Then on the asset management side, we also need to budget for our asset register. So the capital adjustments as well as the final closing balances of the financial statements for the previous year is taken into account to get this budget in line with what the current provisions is. You will see that the total depreciation adjustment budget is now 120 million. The repairs and maintenance budget is 130 million. And then for the renewal of existing assets, we are budgeting 127 million. Then on the last part, it's about the free services that we provide. There's a specific table, table 810 in the Schedule B document that refers to what this is about. So this is what it costs the municipality to provide free basic services, the 69 million. So, Speaker, thank you. That is my story. That is the summary that I've taken you through of the Schedule B document that we've sent out this morning. And obviously the supporting information to that has the detail of what makes up these totals.
Vicky, I thank you very much. And on short notice, you did a splendid job. Thank you for that. Councillors, I cannot allow each and every one of you to speak 5 minutes on this one. So please, if you have quick questions, I've heard Councillor Buddha before I silenced him. Councillor Buddha, have you got any questions on the adjustment budget?
Yes, Speaker. It's not a question as such. I'm aware of the workshop pertaining the budget and approval. Speaker, what we want to see the budget, please, this time. It's very true. You see, I'm staying in Ward 12, and then I'm saving the people in Ward 12. But we only see there is drought. There is, when in terms of the allocation of the money you fund is true. We see big numbers here in front of us, money. But when you talk about the ward committees, take issue to the municipality, always in our ward, there's nothing happening. Let us try to look at a good example from the ANC. When you receive an RDP house, you qualify. Even if you are wearing the EFF t-shirt, the DAT t-shirt, as long as you are qualified, you are going to receive, what you call the RDP. And this money of the taxpayers' money, please, it's supposed to be distributed to all wards. Not otherwise they must suffer, otherwise they must be rich. Please, I want just the officials that must take care of that. They must consider that. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. You must remember that our book year only stops at the 30th of June. And every day we pay bills and so forth, and then this amount minimized by the millions. Anyone else that have any questions on this one? No one? Councillor Buddha, I've taken note what you said, and it will be minuted. And then that I will give, is it E16? E16 will then carry through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Thank you, Vicky. Thank you, everyone that made this road easy for us to go slow and to go fast whenever we want. It was with your hands that we can now live in ease. Thank you very much, every one of you. E17 of 2021 promotes amendments to the 2020-2021 top layer SDBIP. As you know, this is a given. E17, can I have a proposer and a seconder on E17?
I'll propose Mark Furness.
Mark Furness proposed, and can I have a seconder on that one?
Speaker, I will second it on number 17.
Councillor Mari de Klerk. Thank you, Councillor Mari. Is there anyone that have something to say on E17? As I said, it's a given. But no one, I'll E17 of 2/02/2021 carry through as an unanimous vote. I thank you, councillors. 18, E18 proposed amendments to the policy, travel and substance for councillors and officials. I think you went through that, as they say in Afrikaans, met 'n fyn kam. You've watched everything and saw what's on in it. And yeah, can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can put E18 to the table?
Speaker, Councillor van Dijk, I will propose.
Thank you, Councillor van Dijk. Seconder?
Speaker, I'll second.
Thank you, Deputy. Seconded by the Deputy. Anyone have something to say on this one? I hear absolute silence. So E18 of 02/2020 will carry through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Another policy, E19, Mossel Bay Municipality Human Resources Strategy of 2021 to 2026. You see, that's for the next 5 years. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that this one, E19, can go to the table? Do I have a proposer?
I propose Speaker, Councillor Kannemeyer.
Kannemeyer proposed. Seconder?
Thank you, Speaker. Yeah, sorry, I've got a sticky mic. I'll second that.
Seconded by Councillor Alderman Dirk Coetzee, Deputy Mayor. Anyone that have something to say on the human resources strategy? Niemand nie? Then E19 carry through as a unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. E20. And this one always gives me shivers around my backstring. Writing off irrecoverable debts for the period ending January 2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the writing off of this irrecoverable debts?
Hello, Speaker.
Yes, ma'am.
Speaker, I propose.
Proposed by Impact. Councillor Bobello, thank you very much. Can I have a seconder for that one?
I'll second, Speaker. Mark.
Thank you, Councillor Mark. Coming from both here of the political side. Anyone else? I don't think so. Then don't hear anything. E20 carries through as unanimous vote. Thank you. E20 of 02-2021. Then I'm at E21 of 02-2021. Monthly report for the supply chain management section for the periods ending 31st October, 30th of November, and the 31st of December 2020. Can I have a proposer and a seconder on the E21 supply chain?
I'll propose, Speaker. Mark Furness.
I propose.
The proposer and the seconder?
I propose Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Thank you, Speaker.
It's been seconded by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Is anyone have something to say about it? E21 of 02-2021 then carries through as a unanimous vote. I thank you, councillors. Aldermen and older ladies. 22. A monthly deviation report by supply chain management for the periods in the 31st of October, 30th of November, and the 31st of December. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E22?
Speaker, I propose is Mari de Klerk.
Thank you, older lady Mari. Can I have a seconder?
Speaker, I'll second. Mark.
Seconded by Mark Furness. Just some info. This had nothing to do with E22. At the speakers forum yesterday, I've noticed that ladies are called aldermen in the rest of the Western Cape, except from Mossel Bay. So being called older lady is the first for the speakers forum, and it comes from Mossel Bay. Thank you very much for being first again. E22.
Speaker, my hand is raised.
Councillor, I see your hand. You've got the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. Firstly, let me just commend you on not being politically correct about genders and the fact that they are considered to be 100 different genders these days. We know that there are only 2, male and female. Speaker, I'd like to just point out, as I did in the committee when we received the deviation report, and as I have done with most deviation reports when I've noticed that we've been renting equipment from Henra and Transand. Specifically, I think it is a grader that we've been using a lot. Speaker, I've got no idea of the cost involved, but I would like to suggest that our administration take a look when compiling this budget, the draft budget that will be presented to us, that the municipality considers purchasing their own grader. If we look at the cost of either 50,000 or 100,000, sometimes close to 100,000, I think I've seen 97,000 per time when we've used the grader, that it might actually be worth it for us to purchase our own equipment in that regard, specifically a grader. But that's just a note that I'd like added to this cognizance of the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Anyone else? Scribe, will you please take note of what was said by Councillor Gous? Of we must in future try to look at buying our own grader or machines, whatever it might be. I know that when it's new, it's lovely to work with, and then it becomes one of those guys that takes money and never stop taking money. So yeah. We will put that down, Councillor Gous, and maybe we don't know what will happen in the future. Maybe we will have our own grader then. E22 then carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. I'm at E23. Quarterly environment report for period ending 31st of December. Yeah, the environments are one of those things you don't want to do, but you have to do sometimes. E23, can I have a proposer and a seconder that I can open it?
Speaker, I'll propose, Deputy.
Thank you, Deputy. Proposed by Deputy Alderman Dirk Coetzee. And do I have a seconder for that one?
Speaker, I'll second Mark Furness.
Seconded by Mark Furness. Any questions? Anyone would want to speak on it? Going, gone. E23 carries through as an unanimous vote. I thank you, councillors. Skryf ek maar opgaan. E24, quarterly report from the expenditure section for the period ending the 31st of December 2020. Kwartaallikse verslag van uitgawes, quarterly report expenditure. Can I have a proposer and a seconder?
I will propose Councillor Leon van Dijk, Speaker.
Thank you, Leon. Councillor Leon will be the proposer for E24. Can I have a seconder?
Klaas Boysen, second.
Thank you, Councillor Boysen. Anyone that have something to say about E24? Thank you very much, councillors. E24 then carries through as an unanimous vote. And I'm then at E25. Proposed ring-fenced, proposed phased ring-fence development of Mossel and establishment of a regional motorsport venue. And the hectares are around about 92, and that's in the vicinity of Mossel. So the Mossel ring-fence development and in hyphens MRD. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E25?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton Delamain. Can I have a seconder for that one?
Speaker, I'll second Mark Furness.
Seconded by Councillor Mark Furness. Is there any? I see a hand of Councillor Gous. Councillor
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Appreciate it, thank you. Speaker, I first raised questions on this matter when the item came to our committee, which I then sent in questions on the 9th of February. Director Fenter replied to all that he could, but then referred some of the questions to the legal department. And despite repeated requests for answers, I unfortunately still do not have any, so I'm going to have to ask them now in our council meeting. The first question that I'd like answered is, if I'm understanding this proposed development correctly, our CRR funds are going to be used to develop these properties, and then they will be sold at cost. And then I understand that these funds will be used to establish the NPO for the motorsport venue. Am I understanding this correctly, Speaker? That's my first question. And then my second question is related to this item. I know that we did a similar development in Alvendal where we made the properties, provided services and so on, and then also said we were going to sell them at cost on a first come, first served basis. This item E25 has recommended that a full report with disclosure of accounts will be submitted to council. I'd like to know if we can receive such a report also on the Alvendal development, and if so, has one been compiled, and if so, when will we see it? Thank you.
Councillor, on the Alvendal, I cannot give you any answers on that one. On the proposed phase ring fence, I will call on the MM to give us some advice on what's on the table. Please, MM.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, now I'm gonna start with the last one. Councillor, please excuse me if pardon me if I've got you wrong. The Alwyn Dal one, if I'm not mistaken, was in respect of the airstrip or the airfield, as we call it. And that development does not even started. I don't think even there's designs on that. There's not even a memorandum of understanding signed in that regard yet. So you're a bit fast. I know that Mossel Bay administration is the best in the country, but miracles take a bit of time. That is a sort of a miracle to get that one off the ground. Yes, as you said, the report back obviously must be done in all instances, and we've got no problem with that. As to the current situation here, the money will never be used to establish an NPO. NPO is something that, yes, our legal department does that. It sort of has been designed, has been discussed with the relevant motorsport fraternities, and they have agreed to that in principle, though not in writing. But at this stage, yes, it's not a matter of funds being allocated to the NPO. That was never the idea. The NPO is established in order for having a legal entity to rent from the municipality. Obviously, they will then be renting out to the motorsport clubs, and all the money that they receive as rental income must then be plugged back into the facility. So that's the idea, but the idea was never to use CRR funding to be paid over to the NPO. That was never the idea, and I don't think that's part of the item. But Speaker, if I've got the questions wrong, I tender my apology for that.
Thank you, Any more questions on that, or something you want to ask?
I'd like to just concur with our regarding our administration. And because they're so good, I have been expecting miracles. I just expect them to take a little longer, as that meme says. But no, in all seriousness, thank you, Speaker. I think I will then rather abstain from voting on this item at the moment, because according to my understanding of reading the item, CRR funds are going to be used to develop those properties. So yes, thank you for the answer, but I will abstain for now.
Thank you. I see a hand of Director Venter. Am I right, Director?
Speaker, no, just to thank Speaker, just for opening remarks of a councillor. Yes, no, legal services did respond to that, and I believe it was sent to the councillor, the questions, but in any case, the MM did respond to the question, so that's, I think it's dealt with. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Director. There was no counter proposals for E25. It then carries through as an unanimous vote, with the exception of the ACDP, that they would not take part in this decision. I thank you, councillors. We're at E26 then. Just kyk ons 'n bietjie, dankie. E26, application to lease the land and municipal building situated on earth 15118, a portion of earth 9060, portion of earth 912, public open space next to Protea Park and extension 23 Mossel Bay, Southern Cape Waste and Recycling. The first one is for the lease of land, and the next one is for the cancellation of the lease agreement of municipal building situated on public open space earth 15118, portion of earth 9060 next to Protea Park, extension 23 Mossel Bay. And all of this is going on. The reason for it is for recycling, and yeah, I've seen it on last night, as I've seen, and that was on TV, and I think it was in Franshoek, a lady that she employed 29 people, and she recycles. She sells bottles, and she sells plastic bottles and whatever. And when listening, what she earned, that doesn't look like big money. But when you look at the tonnage that went through her hand, It's a lot of money so that she can hire vehicles and she can rent people to work for her. As I said, 29, and I was amazed about that. Having listened to my voice enough, I think I will bring to you E26 or 02/2021. Do I have a proposer and a seconder for this one?
Speaker,
thank you
Councillor
very much.
Baron, I will propose.
I've got
Speaker,
the proposal
Councillor
from
Baron, I will propose.
Councillor Baron. I've had at first I had the proposal for older lady Fortuin, and then I will take you as a seconder. Is that fine with you?
No problem, Speaker.
That was then the proposer was older lady Fortuin, and the proposer, the seconder, sorry, Councillor Baron from the VF front. Thank you, councillors. And then E26 of 02/2021 carried through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much. I'm at E27. Amended Fraud and Risk Management Charter, Policy and Strategy. One of those things you had to go through with eagle eye. I hope you've went through it, and I put it onto the table. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E27 of 02?
Speaker, I will propose, Deputy.
Deputy, thank you very much for the proposing. And do I have a seconder?
Yes, you do, Speaker. Councillor Leon van Dijk. It was indeed a long document to read.
I've noticed that. Thank you, councillors. And then it was proposed and seconded. Anyone against it? Councillor Ghost, your hand is again.
Thank you, Speaker. I would just like to raise a concern. I noticed that we removing a section that says that we are going to appoint a member that is not in the employ of the institution. Could I perhaps get a reason why we've decided that? Because I believe it weakens transparency and accountability. Why are we moving such a representative?
Councillor Ghost, I'll ask the MM. That was his report. MM, can you put some light on this question?
Speaker, thank you. Yes, Speaker, the member of the audit committee is sort of the person that's representing or indirectly representing council, and being a specialist, we thought it appropriate to rely on only that person. And that was our understanding. Obviously, we need to see where we can, if I can say, cut cost or do savings. We rather rephrase by say do savings, but without jeopardizing the oversight of the committee or the workings of the committee. At this stage, the Fraud and Risk Management Committee, everything that we as a committee do, in any case, it is actually the municipality's officials. It is our staff that identify the risks. It will be extremely difficult for anyone else outside the organization to identify risk in respect of the municipality. The outside person then will be the audit committee member, which is correct. And then all the reports from this committee goes to the full audit committee meeting. So they sort of scrutinize all the minutes from our meetings, and obviously from there it goes to council. As to the purpose of the meeting is mostly a risk management meeting. Our output or main output is the risk register, which is something that's available for anyone to see, as well as the risk actions that need to be taken. So it's an open document that we produce, and obviously if there's any comments on our document, it will be highly appreciated. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. You satisfied, Councillor Gous?
Speaker, no, I hear what the MM is saying, but I'm not in agreement with him. And so the ACDP will actually propose that we amend this document to once again include a member that is not in the employ of the institution. Just for the sake of transparency, I hear what the MM is saying, and my personal opinion is that often our audit committee report that comes to council has been quite sanitized before we see it. So I would like to propose that the amendment be changed. I'm not sure if there'll be any support from the opposition parties in council. If not, Speaker, then I would just like to note my abstain.
Councillor
Thank
Gous, I gave you your first talk and then another one, so you're only obliged to one. Is there anyone you've listened and you heard what Councillor Gous said? She made she wanted a second of way of thinking of amendment this fraud and risk management charter. Is there anyone that want to second it? Councillor
Speaker,
Baron.
Councillor Baron, Freedom Front Plus. I will support Councillor Gous. I think that's a brilliant idea. Let we have somebody from outside to be part. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillors, the first one of this morning we have to vote on is E27. I will read out your names and you say you for it or against it, and Councillor Gous, here you can say I abstain. Thank you very much. I want to read your names and we will describe, will then tick off the names. I'm at Onderburgemeester, Alderman Kotze. For or against?
For, Speaker.
Thank you. Myself, it's for. Councillor Baron, you were the seconder, so you're against. Alderman Byman.
For, Speaker.
For. Councillor Bobello.
Abstain, Speaker.
Abstain. Councillor Boyson.
For, Speaker.
For, thank you, Councillor Boyson. Councillor Buddha.
Abstain, Speaker.
Abstain, thank you, Councillor Buddha. Councillor Delamain.
For, Speaker.
For. Older lady, the clerk.
For, Speaker.
Councillor Vivas. You're not here this morning, I think.
Abstain, Speaker.
Abstain, thank you, man. I thought you were not here. Raadsdame Fortuin. Older lady Fortuin.
I'm for it, Speaker. Thank you.
For. Councillor Furness.
Sorry, for it, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Furness. Councillor Gous, you're against. Alderman Groenewald.
Speaker, yes, I am against the proposal as contained in our agenda, but for the proposal that I've made that an external person be represented.
Yeah, we know. I understand what you say, but we can go on. Alderman Groenewald.
For, thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Jansen. Are you for it or are you against it, Councillor Cedric?
Abstain.
Thank you, Councillor Cedric. Councillor Jansen van Rensburg.
For it, Speaker. Thank you.
For. Councillor Kamfer.
Abstain, Speaker.
Abstain. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kannemeyer.
For, Speaker. Thank you.
For. Councillor Chaba is not with us. Councillor Bandesi. Councillor Stanford and Daisy, are you still in? Not here anymore. Councillor Molombo?
Abstain, Speaker.
Abstain. Thank you, Councillor Molombo. Councillor Erika Meyer?
Speaker, as ek mag, she indicated that she can't reply on a tablet. She indicated the 4.
4. Councillor Mvumvu?
I'm for it. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Reuters is absent today. Councillor Siyoko?
For, Speaker.
Thank you. Raadslid van Wyk?
For, Speaker. Thank you.
Scribe, I want you not to count in Councillor Meyer as a yes, seeing that that was sent by message, and it's not possible to take that then as a count. The rest then, please.
Speaker?
14-5 and abstentions. I'll be with you, Nana. 14-2-6. 14-2-4. 6. Okay, my count is 4, 14. Against, it's 2. And the abstentions is 6. Then with a majority of votes, E27 carried through as a decision of this council. I've made my remarks, Councillor Gous. Would you wanted to say something? I've missed it.
Thank you, Speaker. I appreciate it. Just want to thank you for clarifying how the voting system works, that if a person isn't able to directly cast their vote, that it is then not counted. I actually propose that we maybe make a working document about how these council meetings be conducted and those type of rules. So thank you for clarifying that, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. We will then go on at E27. We've passed E27, E28. E28 of 02-2021, approval of tender process for renting out commercial outdoor advertising space for billboards in Mossel Bay on municipal property. It is quite a lengthy document we went through, but yeah, it's on the table now. A little down, please. Approval of tender process E28 02-2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one?
Yes, Speaker, I would like to propose item E28 for acceptance.
28 proposed for acceptance by Alderman Cliffy Bayman. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second, Speaker. It's Deputy.
Seconded by Deputy. Thank you, Deputy. I see a hand from Councillor Gous again. Councillor Gous.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Speaker, as I have repeated in all the times that this item has appeared before Council and in our committees, to me it's a great pity that the Mossel Bay Municipality's erection of an advertising board is included in the item as one item. I've asked that the matter be separated because the ACDP is not against the rental of outdoor advertising space, but I am obliged to vote against this item because I am not giving approval from the ACDP side for the municipality to erect a billboard at the cost of 400,000 Rand at the moment in these economic times, putting a further pinch. It's R500,000. I know we're working with billions, but every R500,000 adds up. And so the ACDP would like to really strongly voice our objection to the fact that the municipality is going ahead with the erection of this billboard, basically subsidizing businesses in town from the resident service and ratepayer costs. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor, I know you've got immunity when we're in council, but I want to advise you to count your words. Might count against you in the future. Anyone else on E28? I haven't had any co-proposals. Then E28 of 022-2021 carried through as an unanimous vote with the exception of the ACDP. Next one. Investigation into the location of a main municipal office complex. Planning for the future. That's at E29 of 02-2021. Do I have a proposer and a seconder on E29?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Now, I would like to propose that we adopt the recommendation as is, and I would like to congratulate our staff, all our officials, for their very progressive thinking and keeping up with the times the way we experience it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman Groenewald. Do I have a seconder for the proposal of Councillor Groenewald? Councillor Gous? I see you, Anne.
As Speaker, no, I would like to just comment on the item, so I'll wait for a seconder.
Okay, thank you. Seconder at E29.
Speaker, I second it.
Did I hear Councillor Boyson?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Then Councillor Gous, you can comment.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to just concur with Alderman Groenewald. We really thank the administration for being proactive in this regard and taking steps to see how we can save costs for our ratepayers. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Then, as I said, E29 goes through as an unanimous vote. Can we have the next one, please, Scribe? The NOVA Medical Precinct Plan Local Spatial Development Framework and Overlay Zone Draft Documents. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the NOVA Precinct Plan? The Medical Precinct Plan.
Yes, Speaker, I would like to propose item E30.
E30 proposed by Alderman Bayman. Can I have a seconder for that one?
Speaker, I will propose Councillor Leon van Dijk.
Councillor van Dijk, thank you very much. Anyone else on it? Councillor Gous?
My apologies, Speaker. I never lowered my hand. My apologies.
You so used to comment on everything. I thought this one was one of those as well. Councillor, on the lighter
I
side.
don't blame you, Speaker.
Okay, thank you. E30 then carries through as an unanimous vote. E31, initiation of a process to compile the Mossel Bay Spatial Development Framework 2022 SDF. Initiation of the process to compile the Mossel Bay Spatial Development Framework. There's a lot of work that has been done on that one as well. E31 or 02-2021. Do I have a proposer for E31?
Yes, Speaker, you do have. I would like to propose E31 for acceptance.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Proposed by Alderman Cliffy Bayman. And then I see a hand of Councillor Groenewald.
Thank you, Speaker. I will gladly second that. And again, with thanks for lots of work going into all those processes. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. Initiation of process to compile a Mossel Bay Spatial Development Framework has been proposed and it's been seconded. Anyone that have something to say on it? Except the one where I don't want anything but thank you very much. So I haven't heard something, then it carries through as an unanimous vote and the decision of the Council of Mossel Bay. Thank you, councillors. E32, application to lease portion of earth 401 Little Black River, the Vista Bowling Club. Can I have a proposer and a seconder out of Ward 4 then for E32?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose this item.
Proposed by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second, Speaker.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Alderman Dirk Coetzee. Thank you very much. Is that unanimous? Yes, that's an unanimous vote. The E32 of 0221 carries through as an unanimous vote, and the decision of the Council of Mossel Bay. Thank you, councillors. I'm at E33 of 02-2021. Proposed alienation of earth 12739 to the owner of the adjacent earth 3519, and that's Montague Street, Mossel Bay. And that one is part of the history, and it's been through all the processes, and now it's back again. E33, can I have a proposer and a seconder?
I will propose, Speaker, Councillor van Dijk.
I see Councillor van Dijk will be the proposer and the seconder. I saw Cliffy Bayman's light. Am I right, Councillor?
You're quite right, Speaker. I would gladly second my honored colleague. Thank you.
Thank you. E33, proposed alienation of the earth. Anyone against? No one against. E33 then carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. We're at E34 of 02-2021. Application for the renewal of a lease agreement of municipal building situated on Earth 13628, 14 Terence Danda Street, Joe Slovo Village. And that is, what is it? The Vivisuzwe Educare Center. That's one of our education centers that's been in practice at the moment. E34, can we have a proposer and seconder for that one?
Speaker, Councillor Baron, propose.
Proposed by Councillor Baron. Thank you, Councillor Baron, for having a heart for our kids. Seconder for that one?
I second, Speaker.
Councillor
No, I second, Speaker.
Second.
Okay, I've been seconded around the clock, but that was Buddha and it was Councillor Julia. I first heard to Councillor Julia, so Councillor Julia will then be the seconder on that one. Thank you, councillors. It's an unanimous vote, and E34 carries through then. It's an unanimous vote. And I'm at E35 of February 2021. Call for business proposal, portion of 3787, the Bucker Beach. When you remind yourself, that was the Yuli's Cafe or whatever it was called, and it was burned down, and now we call for business proposals. This is the second round. Can I have a proposer and seconder?
Speaker, I proposed. Nicholas Boysen proposed.
Proposed by Councillor Nicholas Boysen. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, you do have, Speaker. Alderman Bayman, I would like to second.
Thank you, Alderman Bayman. I don't hear any comments on it, so E35 then carries through as an unanimous vote.
Speaker, Morris, Speaker.
Councillor David.
Yes, Speaker, as you know, for the last 4 years, I plead to council. I haven't got a problem that the proposals and the lease for 30 years or whatever. I plead to council for the last 4 years that they must really look into this thing of empower our people and our community. And I plead today again to council, and I ask maybe the officials, the MM, and all the officials to go and look into that thing. How can we make sure that our community and our business people in town, around in our communities, in our local communities and business people can also eat of this cake? Because why, for me, and I think the last time was on the table, the one of the caravan park in the point, and I said to the mayor, and I hear myself now, I said to the mayor, can you please make sure that the gap between the rich and the poor, that they must be to narrow this gap. Because for me, as as a
Councillor,
councillor of Ikosa,
can you come back to the call?
I plead to, yes, Speaker.
So can you come back to the call for business proposals?
Yes, Speaker. So all what I want to say is that they must make sure that we are part, that our community and our local business must be part and built in something that we will pursue, that we had a fair chance to also eat some of the cake who was given all the years and for the last 4 years to people who are already eat a lot of the cake. Thank you, Speaker. And Speaker, then
yes.
the other one, I know there's nothing on this piece of ground who was burning down. So what I'm asking is just a clarity for myself. There's nothing on this ground. So if somebody come and build in a structure for maybe say 5 million on that that property. So this property will, after 30 years, will that property belong to the municipality?
I don't want to give you answers, but yes, I see the hands of the MM. MM, can you elaborate on what was asked, please?
Speaker, thank you. Yes, that's very definitely the proposal. The proposal is that there is enhancement to the property of the municipality. Whoever enhances the property or better the property by constructing a building within the parameters, obviously, that person will have the joy and benefit of that building for the 30 years. While still paying rent to the municipality, so there will be a rental amount that's also part of the tender, and we will obviously, as prescribed by the supply chain management processes, we will award to the highest bidder. If you'll allow me just to answer one question that the councillor has asked, and the councillor, and that is the question: how can we ensure that and I'm going to rephrase the question, that the locals of Mossel Bay actually get a fair chance to bid against the multinationals in these type of things. Speaker, that is by changing the supply chain legislation. Currently, we are bound by supply chain legislation that does not make any privilege, any provision to actually distinguish between a local and a non-local person in tender processes. So that is the short answer, Speaker. I can elaborate on this because this is really frustrating to all of our officials to give work. We've got taxpayers or ratepayers in our city. We want to empower them, but in terms of national legislation, our hands are bound. We're not allowed to do that. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. I don't see any more hands, so E35 carries through as a unanimous vote.
Councillor Bobelo.
Councillor Bobelo, sorry, madam, I've missed your hand. Councillor Bobelo.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I so wish maybe sometime we can look on that thing of the supply chain, because there's so many things now that are happening here in Mossel Bay. Always when people want to benefit maybe from something, that will the outcome will come and say the supply chain, like now the street cleaners and all those sort of things, because it goes out to people that always already have. Those people that are not paying rates, services here in Mossel Bay. So I wish someday that can be changed so that our people can benefit in whatever that is coming for Mossel Bay. Because as for me now, I can go to George or Cape Town applying for something or something. People of Cape Town or George will fight because I'm not from Cape Town. So I wish someday in the future we can change that. We can fight for it. It cannot be like that forever, because our people here in our community, they are the most people that are struggling from these things. Thank you, Speaker.
I take note of what you said,
Speaker.
Councillor. We will not know what's going on in Parliament. As a matter of fact, if you're driving at night and you come to a red traffic light, you have to stop and you must wait till it's green again before you can advance. Nothing to do with there was no other cars on the road. If you cross a red light, you in for trouble. So yeah, that all depends on what is happening in Parliament, and maybe you must talk to the people in Parliament and say to them they must have a look at the Supply Chain Management Act, and then maybe one day we can look back and say that what you asked for is on the table. Thank you, councillors. E35 then carries through. I'm at E36. Application for consent to construct and install new security gate on the Earth 1016 Hartenbos, and that's at the large school Hartenbos or Hartenbos Primary School on the sport fields that have been rented from the municipality. And then same story as what MM was telling us now. After the people don't need it anymore, or if we need it, then it's still that becomes our property. E36, do I have a proposer and seconder? I see a hand of
Thank you, Speaker.
Alderman Groenewald, will you be the proposer then?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. On your behalf, I know it's your ward, and I support the recommendation as such. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. And a seconder on that one?
Speaker, I second it.
Thank you, Councillor Nicholas Boyson. E36 carries then carries through as a unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Next one is E37. Application for the renewal of the lease agreement of a portion of municipal building situated on Earth 2001 Van Riebeeck Stadium, Mossel Bay. For Mossel Bay Harriers. Mossel Bay Harriers is an athletic club, I suppose, and they've been there since many moons ago. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E37?
Speaker, I propose for approval. Thank you.
Thank you. Proposed for approval by Alder Lady Fortuin. Seconder?
I would second.
Councillor Baron, second.
Seconded by Councillor Baron and Councillor Leon van Dijk. Councillor Baron, yeah, I've heard your name first, and you will be the seconder for that one, and it carries through as an unanimous vote. E37. Next one, please. E38, proposed extension and improvement of Vista Bowling Clubhouse, situated on portion of Earth 401, adjacent to Brinkley Street, Littlebrack River. Vista Bowling Club. That's for try to make the clubhouse a little smarter and bigger. Can I have a proposer on E38?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose, it's Councillor Annie speaking.
Proposed by Councillor Annie. Seconded.
Thank you,
Alderman
Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. I'll second it on behalf also of the senior citizens that plays with their old men's marbles. Thank you.
Yeah, there's only one thing on those extension. Please, I've planted 2 trees next to the passage, the entrance. Please don't bother with my trees. Every time I pass there, I check if they're still standing. That's tongue in the cheek, but I did plant those 2 trees.
We look after it.
The one should have been planted by Mariki, the mayor, then mayor, what was his name now? Never mind. And then she asked me to do it. She wanted to go earlier. Oosthuis, Johan Oosthuis, and the wife of Johan Oosthuis, and the late Johan Oosthuis. E38. I've had a proposer and I've had a seconder. Anyone on it? No one else? Thank you very much. Then it carries through as a unanimous vote. E39. Sorry, Council, I definitely don't have the virus, but it's something in my vote at the moment. E39, the pair of party-bound wall between Irvin 2329 and 2330, Mossel Bay, in order to safeguard municipal property. And that's at the Directorate Infrastructure Services building in George Road. The old afdelingsraadgebou. That building is almost as old as I am. Can I have a proposer and seconder for the reparations that have to be done at the party boundary wall?
Thank you,
E39?
Speaker. Yes, Speaker, I would like to propose E39 of Feb 2021 for approval.
Thank you, Councillor Alderman Cliffy Bayman. Do I have a seconder for that one? E39?
I'll second.
Seconded by Councillor Anton Delamain. I thank you very much. And then it carries through as a unanimous vote. E39 of 02-2021. The next one. Elimination of a portion of Irv 913, Irvin 565 and 566. It's 572 squares, situated adjacent to Irv 567 at the corner of Wongani and Pakatita Street, Kwanamgaba, by means of the tender process. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E40?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Thabo Mvumvu, seconded by?
I second, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Buddha.
Yeah.
Pakatita, does he still lives? Yeah, and he don't answer, so I suppose he's not with us anymore.
No, it's dead.
Has he passed? Okay, I knew him from my days when I was a kid. Then E40 carries through as an unanimous vote. Next one, please. Councillor Van Dijk gave indication that he will not be part of this E41, and I asked him to leave the council meeting by switching off his PC. Thank you, Councillor Van Dijk. E41, declaration of interest, Councillor Van Dijk. We've seen it all. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that this can become a decision of the council? Do I see hands of Councillor Mark Furness, I suppose? Am I right?
Speaker, I would like to propose the recommendations as is. Thank you.
Thank you, older lady. A seconder for that one, E41?
Speaker, I'll second Councillor Kannemeyer.
Councillor Kannemeyer will be the seconder. And no one else on that? In E41, 02-2021. Yes, ma'am. Councillor Gous, I suppose?
Speaker.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I have submitted questions regarding this item, and I'd like to thank everybody involved for the answers that they supplied. I'd like to propose that part of the recommendations where we've stated that a report would be submitted to the municipal manager, that we change that to submitted to the municipal manager and the audit committee. I'd like to make that proposal. And then secondly, Speaker, if I can just get some clarity regarding, I understand how this has happened and that there was no bad intention or so on. And I appreciate Councillor Van Dijk being so upfront in bringing this to our attention. I'd like to, however, just ask, what are we looking at in the future? Will this municipality then no longer do any business with OSS sales? If we could just clarify that. And then I also want to know, Speaker, are there any contracts that have been signed with OSS sales that will impact us in this coming financial year? How will that work?
Thank you, Councillor Gous. I see a hand of the MM.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, you must just remind me about all the questions. I didn't jot them down. Firstly, just to inform Council that I will not have any problems if the recommendation is changed that the report must also be made available to the Audit Committee. I think that's a very fair comment. Currently, Mossel Bay Municipality does not have any existing contracts with OSS. Councillor, my challenge in this regard, and I'm going to put my challenge on the table. I know that Council say that might not be any of their concern, but my challenge is that it is the only service provider of specific services that this municipality needs. So in the past, it was a question of quotations. It wasn't contracts, it was quotations. And we will really have to pull rabbit out of the hat here, because we're talking about environmental legislation, which I'm bound to follow, which obviously was outsourced in the past. And yes, I foresee problems, but to answer your question, we do not foresee, or we do not have any contracts, but I do foresee a problem for myself in that I will be faced with environmental legislation if I do not get another contractor to do the work that has been done by OSS in the past. Speaker, I hope I've answered what I should answer.
Thank you, MM. I just want to scribe, please go to page 279. Almost at the bottom at 9. Nine starts with that internal audit be requested to ensure that the councillor, that one. Then between municipal manager and 4, on the right hand side at the bottom of this highlighted. Can you move your cursor a little? Another 2 steps right. Nog, daar is hy. And then you include and audit committee. Have you got that scribe? You can alter it later on, but that's where I wanted, please. Thank you, Colin. Not Colin, Tertia. Then we go, I see a hand from older lady Fortuin.
Speaker, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Speaker, as the proposer for this item, I then would have no objections if we amend recommendation number 9 as proposed. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you for that one. And the second, I think you will do the same. Councillor Gous, I see you, Anne.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Speaker. I'd just like to thank Council for accepting the recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we go on with the next one? With the alteration, then this one carries through as a unanimous vote. What is it now?
E41.
E41. E41 then carries through as unanimous vote. Thank you. I'm at E42, proposed elimination of portion of Lint Street. We're back in Great Little Black River again, I think. Portion of Earth 675 vesting property, the squares is 84, situated adjacent to Earth 12, Little Black River, Mossel Bay, and that's MM De Beer. Can I have a proposer and a seconder?
Yes.
For the rectification of
Speaker,
this little illness? Yes, ma'am.
I propose this item. That's Counsel
Proposed
Annie
by
speaking.
Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Speaker, I will support Councillor Ani by seconding.
Seconded by Alderman Cliffy Bayman. And I see no hands, further hands. And then E42 of 02-2021 become as an unanimous vote, become a decision of the council. Thank you, guys. 43, E43 02-2021 library fines during the and after the second lockdown period. I haven't noticed how many people, especially the elder people, use libraries anymore. Seeing that we younger people, and am I one of those? I doubt it, but we use our PCs and we use the internet. But there are still people that love books, and I was amazed of how many people did call me and ask, when will the library open again? It's open now. There's some fines that was floating, and then in E43 tell us what we want to do and what we will do. Can I have a proposer that E43 can be put onto the table? Proposer and a seconder?
Speaker, I'll gladly propose. Deputy.
Deputy, thank you very much. Seconder for that one, E43.
Speaker, I'll second. Mark Furness.
Seconded. Anyone who dares to differ? No one? Then E43 carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Next one. Political Party Funding Act number 6 of 2018. It's been in the papers, it's been on internet. We will be having, from the side of the IEC, we will be having a workshop in the next week, I think. This one was in the media as I said, and everywhere. You must have taken notice what it says. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E44 02-2021?
Speaker, I proposed.
Proposed by Councillor Nicholas Boysen. Seconder?
So second, Speaker.
Seconded by Deputy Mayor Alderman Kotze. No one else, then E44 of 02 of 2021 became a decision of this council as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Can we go on, please? E45. This will be online in a minute. E45, please. Can you scroll up, please? We've been at 44. And go to 45, scribe. That's it. Thank you. Councillor Comfort, I suppose you're not with us anymore. Have you left yeah. I hope you've left the council meeting and put off your PC. Alleged breach of code of conduct, Councillor Comfort. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can take cognizance of this?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Thabo Mvubu. Do I have a seconder?
Speaker, I'll second. Mark Furness.
Seconded by Mark Furness. Door is open now for discussion. I see a hand of Alderman Groenewald, and after that, Councillor Goos. Alderman Groenewald.
No. Thank you so much, Speaker, for the opportunity. Now, I just checked on the attendance register, and it seems as if Councillor Kamfer was still connected. I don't know if my tablet is wrong. That's what I saw.
kyk, kan julle kom kry? Just 1 second, please. Self. It seems to us you're not part of it anymore. Yeah, I do have a proposer and a seconder that we can take cognizance of it. Usually we don't have a chat on things that we have to take cognizance of. But I see a hand of Councillor Gous and Councillor Elroy Baron. Can you make it short, please? Councillor Gous.
Yes, Speaker, thank you. Speaker, I did submit questions. I suspect I might be one of the guilty councillors in not including the relevant chairpersons when I submit questions, but that's not a deliberate act. It's either an omission or it is simply because I'm no longer sure which chairperson to submit an item to. So my apologies for that.
That's a very
I did
thin
submit
excuse,
this.
Councillor.
Sorry?
Actually, that's a very thin excuse, but you can go on.
But it's the truth. Okay, so Speaker, just to continue on this item, I do take cognizance. I'd like to state that I was personally dismayed to see the Mossel Municipality's name mentioned in such a manner on social media. However, Speaker, I would like to ask that the following questions just be answered. I note that we said that the report stated that Councillor Comfort was absent and that he was represented by R. Brown, although he was not present. So in actual fact, Councillor Comfort was not represented in this hearing at all. I understand that they decided to go ahead with the hearing because there had been numerous occasions on which it had been postponed. But the reality is, in my opinion, is that Councillor Comfort was not presented with an opportunity then to actually state his case. The report mentions previous relevant convictions, but it doesn't tell us what those convictions were. And then a request that I made for information regarding an investigation by SAPS. The municipal manager has made me aware or has informed me that he's not aware of any investigation that was conducted by SAPS. So my concern is that these were serious claims that were made against councillors and against officials of our municipality, although I understand they were not named. I would be very surprised if the allegations turned out to be true. My experience with our administrative staff has been that they are people of utmost integrity, but I think it is fair to investigate the claims that were made. And it seems to me that no investigation, not even an internal one, was conducted. I might be wrong about that, but as I said, my questions weren't fully answered. So if we could just, for peace of mind's sake, I understand we have no influence on the censure that's been given by the disciplinary committee, but I'd like to know, for peace of mind's sake, what is the municipality, or what has the municipality done regarding the allegations that were made? And then, Speaker, just secondly, I noticed that there was, I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me now, so I'm speaking from memory, but that a second charge was added to the disciplinary hearing that related to Councillor Comfort gathering with the fishermen during lockdown level 5, I think it was. I'm not sure how in this respect he's transgressed the code of conduct. And I would then like to further state, although I have the current lockdown regulations state that no political gatherings may be engaged in, and yet despite that, I've received several screenshots from people in the community of, I'm going to just say it, the DA councillors that are gathering with T-shirts and so on as they're busy campaigning and constituting branches and whatever else they're doing. Then to be consistent, then charges should be laid against them also. I'm not planning to do it because I think it's petty and it's small-minded. But if we are treating one councillor a certain way, then we need to ensure that we treat all councillors in the same manner. So if that could be clarified for me, why was he charged with that second charge? How was it a breach of code of conduct?
Councillor Gous, I just want to tell you how the modus operandi is. I receive, as a speaker, I receive complaints, and then I give it to the lawyers, and not our internal lawyers, an external lawyer. He look at it, and then he goes further with it. Then my work is done. So I don't even pop in a hearing or so. Cannot give you all those answers you asked for me. I see the hand of the MM is up. Maybe he can give you some more light than I am. But yeah, if social media is your Bible, I feel sorry for you. MM?
Speaker, before the MM speaks.
Of Councillor Baron, your hand is up. Before I go to MM, Councillor Baron, you can put your verdict on the table.
Chief, let the MM answer both the questions.
That's fine.
Is it fine with you?
Yeah, it's fine with me.
Okay. I just want to check what is the procedure whether Councillor Counsel did appeal against this alleged breach of code of conduct. So I just want to check that. Did Councillor appeal on this matter? And if he did appeal, is the appeal finished? And must council must this point come back to council after his appeal, if he did appeal? So that is my question. Then I also want to state that I'm totally against this thing that is happening here. This thing will burn council. It will come to hunt us all. So I don't want to take food out of people's mouths. And this is petty. According to me, this thing, and especially the one that is coming from the fishermen. The fisherman in Mossel Bay is very angry. And Mr. Kamfer, Councillor Kamfer, will score a lot of points. He can even go to the media and they will pay this thing that they sanction him with. So I'm against this whole point. But I just want to check what is the procedures around the appeal or not. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank
you, Speaker. Speaker, perhaps on a lighter note, when Councillor Gous spoke, the initial comments, I thought she replaced Mr. Brown, but later on I found out that she's only asking questions. Councillor, I cannot answer on the merits. Obviously, I was not part of the committee. My knowledge is that the councillor was afforded enough opportunity to present his case. It is not a right to present your case. The right is to have an opportunity to present your case. You don't need to take up the right, but you must have the right to do it. So I don't think if the committee is convinced that, and council is convinced that the right to present your case has been given, then the finding of the committee should stand. Councillor Gous, I might have interpreted your email wrong. I think I did, actually, when listening to what you asked. You must remember that I wasn't part of the whole of the hearing at all. From what I gather from what you asked now, it would seem that you say that what you're asking is, was there an internal investigation in relation to allegations about food parcels? If that is the case, and sorry for misunderstanding your initial or your email question. If that is the case, it's a very definitely yes. But I wanna, if Speaker allows me, I just wanna say one or two further words. Yes, a matter was opened at the South African Police. They investigated the matter. My officials, it took a lot of service delivery time to answer all the questions. The police, as you can expect, did not find anything wrong. But someone, and at this stage I'm going to stick to someone, was not satisfied with the police outcome. So he or she referred the matter to the Special Investigating Unit. The Special Investigating Unit, the National Special Investigating Unit, spent weeks in Mossel Bay investigating this frivolous, vexatious allegations about the food parcels. After weeks going through, Councillor, your bank account was also scrutinized as mine was. So they really went into all the forensic stuff, or all the forensic tricks. They came back to us and say, okay, they found no proof or nothing in the allegations. I must just check as a municipality or as an accounting officer about the allegation that all the food parcels were not the same. Now, by all means, I know they weren't the same. They could not have been the same because they had different stuff in. That was investigated by my internal investigators very thoroughly, with a big report coming back to me and me saying, yes, you are stating the obvious. We received donations from different people, from different organizations with different products. So the food parcels couldn't have been the same. That's also there. So yes, and then Councillor Gous, we received an invoice from the SIU in the tune of 1.28 million rand for the investigation. We at this stage is waiting on the SIU to come back with information to us, because we asked them who requested the investigation. Because obviously, if it's someone who we can recover the cost from, we will definitely try to do so. As to the second charge, I wasn't part of the committee, but we must also remember in which level of alert level, rather, the allegations were, when it happened. Obviously, we are now in level 3, and I know that gatherings is allowed up to 50 people within under roof and 100 outside and those sort of things. So one must really look at what is allowed and what was allowed and those sort of things. I'm not going to go into the facts. As to the question about the appeal, the process, as I understand it, and I think I've got a very good understanding of the process, given my previous life, is that the committee appointed by Council evaluated the evidence. The committee makes a recommendation to Council, as is in front of you. Council decides on the recommendation. Once Council has decided on the recommendation, the councillor being investigated is informed of the Council decision. The councillor being investigated has got 14 days to appeal to the MEC, and the MEC is then the appeal authority, which will evaluate on the evidence before him. In this instance, it will be him. So no, there's no appeal yet, and there couldn't have been an appeal because the councillor shouldn't have been informed of the council resolution, which will be taken shortly. Speaker, I hope I've answered.
MM baie dankie. Ek sien 'n hand van Baron, ek sien 'n hand van Gous, ek sien 'n hand van Boysen in die volgorde. Baron. As dit Baron lyk my vergeet.
Sorry, Speaker. The MM did answer me. Thank you.
Okay, dankie. Sal jy net jou handjie laat sak asseblief? Ek gaan verder dan op die lys af is Raadslid Gous en daarna Raadslid Boysen. Ek sien die MM se hand is weer op en daarmee wil ek dan afsluit. Raadslid Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. Firstly, let me state I am absolutely shocked and dismayed at the cost that's now come down to this Mossel Bay Municipality. It's almost unbelievable, 1.28 million rands. It's unthought of. I'm genuinely shocked about that. And yes, I'd like us to definitely see what we can do about that. Speaker, then just quickly, tongue in cheek, your comment regarding social media. Isn't this very case based on social media? That's why Councillor Comfort was accused of misconduct because of social media posts. So the allegedly guilty councillors that have been conducting political meetings and posting their stuff on social media, I feel should then obviously be treated the same as what Councillor Comfort is being treated for so-called transgression of level 5 lockdown regulations. And just to comment on what the MM has said, yes, the regulations under level 3B state that no gatherings greater than 50, but there's a specific proviso for political gatherings, and that states that they should not be conducted at all during this level. So thank you for the very comprehensive reply, Speaker. I take note of this answer.
Thank you very much. Councillor Boysen.
Speaker, I don't want to intervene in that alleged breach of code of conduct because it doesn't stop here. This is just, we call it in English, aanbeveling naar die provincie toe for they will decide what is the case and the case merit and all these things. And if he's not guilty, they will decide it there. But I leave it there, Speaker. My one is. I was part of the MM speech was that there was an investigation. He talked about 1.2 million. The one who said that the people must investigate, and it seems for me now that the municipality must pay it. No, Speaker, I'm totally against this. The one who give the walks or what do you call them? Give them the instruction to investigate. He must pay. They must deal with that person. If it is Nicholas Boysen, deal with Nicholas Boysen. If the Nicholas Boysen was giving the instruction to investigate, I think this was just a thing to score. Someone would want to score political points. I smell a rat here, Speaker. I just want to tell this. I'm totally against if the municipality pay it. And if we can get them as soon as possible, because it's the first time I hear about this today. So if they must investigate this thing and bring the person who gives the instruction. I thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Boysen. I see a hand of Councillor Alderman Groenewald.
Thank you for the opportunity, Speaker. Now, I need some clarity. For my own purpose, is it? I take it that once this resolution is being made, it is not for cognizance. We consider it and we adopt the resolution. So once it is made, the fine to be paid is soon after, a reasonable time after. I would say a reasonable time after this decision is made. That fine must be paid. It is therefore, in my thinking. And I need some assistance from our MM. Is it necessary that we must state when it must be paid? Or can we take it for granted that once the resolution is made, then it is to be paid? Thank you. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman. I see a hand of the MM. I'll go back to MM just now. Councillor Gous, you assume that this alleged breach of code of conduct and the committee that handled with it are, sorry for this one, are only based on what was said on social media. You wasn't with me when a woman from police phoned me in tears, the way she was treated as a police officer by this alleged breach of Councillor Comfort. No one knows about it except the lady that in tears called me. So you not even, that's the first one I've mentioned it to. So please don't believe anything that runs into everyone's sense for not asked for. Ek sien nie tuisgiele meer. Can you be the last speaker on this one?
Speaker, that is not in my hands, it's in your hands. Councillor Groenewald, I think you're quite correct. I'll give you as it stands now. When Council take a resolution on this matter, it is a final resolution. That means it is final and it is implementable. But as always in law, you have got a right to appeal. Now, if you appeal, it stays the outcome of the investigation or the recommendation. We rather talk about the recommendation then. But the appeal must be done within 14 days, must be done to the MEC of local government in the Western Cape. So that is my understanding. If you would say that there should be a time limit, may it be after the resolution of council or after the finalization of the appeal, that will be a good addition to the item. Thank you.
Thank you, With that, we end this alleged breach code of conduct. We've had some speakers that talked about it and some against it, and I want to assure you, as just said to us, what will be done or what will be doing, what we will be doing, and not we, the councillor, we now will take no cognizance of it, and we will condone what's on this E45. Afterwards, then it will go to on appeal. I suppose they will, the councillor will go on appeal. And then afterwards, as said, the minister will decide on, are we overcharging or are we undercharging the amount? So that will be in the hands of the ministry, and that then they will come. People will come with a notice for us, and then we will deal with it further. At the moment, E45 of 221. Is there anyone that is against it that will want me to put it onto the vote? Otherwise,
yes, Speaker, I don't want to vote against it, but I'd like to abstain, and for this reason. My reason being that I feel the report from the chairperson was then not sufficiently comprehensive, and for that reason I will abstain from condoning this item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you.
Speaker, from my side, Councillor Baron.
Yes.
I think we all hear now that Barney differs with the and with Councillor Boyson. So this thing is actually final because they will deduct, and afterwards he must appeal to the minister. Then his money was already taken.
No money was taken, Councillor.
So that's why I abstain from this point. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, no, you're wrong when you said money was taken. No money was taken. But that will be in the hands of the minister. He'll decide, do we stay on the amount or not?
Speaker, no. Let me correct you. I never say money was taken. I say after this decision, according to Councillor Barney, then the money must be deducted, and afterwards he must appeal to the minister. That's how I understand it from Barney.
Speaker.
So both both the MM and Councillor Boyson was wrong.
On a point of order, Speaker.
Now, yeah,
Speaker.
what's your point of order?
Speaker, the council never take a decision. Barney's part, the Councillor Barney's part of a council. It's not necessary that the council never accept a decision like that. Councillor Baron was just Councillor Barney is not the council. Councillor Barney have asked the MM and the MM correcting. I don't believe.
Councillor, I think we must stop this here. I don't want any further discussions. E45, we had a proposal, we had a seconder, we don't have a vote against it. And there was a Councillor Goos and Councillor Baron. Their names, they said they will abstain. There was no voting, so I will dot their names down against it, and I will conclude with this one then, that we go with the process as it is. I cannot give MM, yes?
Speaker, my sincere apologies for interjecting, but I need to just ask you before you conclude on the matter. As has been rightly raised by some councillors, the item as it stands now states that the councillor must be fined. I've got no problem to that, but the administration will have to implement. Being fined also entails that you must pay. And if the item can just perhaps give us a timeline, for instance, and I'm just making an example, the fine must be paid within a month, or arrangements for the payment must be made within a month from the date of finalization of this matter. It may be by this decision of council or by the appeal authority. Then it will assist the administration.
Speaker, can you please allow me?
Is it Groenewald?
Thank you, Speaker. Now, I need to correct this. I heard about Barney is not Barney is part of the council. Yes, I'm part of the council. And let's correct this. I never, or the municipal manager didn't differ with my question of clarity and my understanding of what the resolution will entail. There was no difference. I think MM said that he agrees and he thinks that it would be good if we can clearly give an indication to administration. That's why I asked the question of clarity. There was no difference in opinion and understanding of the law here. I never differed with the MM, or the MM didn't differ with me at all. And I don't think we should slant. You know, this really upsets me a bit when I'm getting when it's being said that Barney said this and what council or whatever that. That is not what I did. I asked a question of clarity. The MM responded thereto, and he again repeated, due to or after the question of clarity I raised, his views was, yes, it would assist the administration, and he again reiterated this. So I just wanted to make that correction in defense of myself. Thank you, Speaker. If need be, Speaker, if need be, then I would love to call for a caucus from the Democratic Alliance, please.
Ek dink ek wil 'n reëling maak. E45, the fine of 10,000 will be paid pending the outcomes based on the outcome of the appeal that's going to be lodged by the councillor. Is that fine with every one of you?
Speaker, is that the policy is, then it is fine. But I don't think they say it's the policy.
Well, yeah, that's now my ruling, and I will stand for that. Then I
All
will
right,
go.
that's fine. That's a good one. I'm with you, Speaker. I'm with you with that one.
Thank you very much, and I'll go on for E46 then.
Speaker,
Yes, ma'am.
thank you for allowing me, Speaker. I just want to confirm that the ACDP maintains our stance that we are not voting to condone this item, to condone the recommendation. So I still abstain from this item. Thank you.
Scribe, will you please make a note of that as well? And we go on. Additional item for council meeting on Thursday, and that's E46. Hosting of events, Ironman 70.3. I see the end of the Deputy Mayor. Deputy Mayor, I suppose you want to say yay for this one.
Yes, Speaker, I was too quick out of the blocks.
Yeah, being an athlete, I can sometimes you have to shoot two shots to bring you back to the blocks. But yeah, thank you for that one. Ironman E46. It's been proposed by the Deputy Mayor. Can I have a seconder on this one?
Second by Councillor Kannemeyer, Speaker. Thank you.
Seconded by Councillor Kannemeyer. Anyone on this one? Can we take it as unanimous vote?
Speaker?
I promise the MMI won't take part in this one. Councillor Ghost?
Thank you, Speaker. You guys can rest assured I won't either. Speaker, no, seriously, I would like to voice my objection to the fact that 1.5 million is going to be spent on advertising this event. Once again, ratepayers' money being used to advertise an outside event. I feel that we are already accommodating the hosting of the event and all the sorry, my brain is switched off. We've been in council for quite a while now. No, the non-financial implications such as the provision of bins and all the usual that we do, electricity and so on. So the ACDP votes against providing 1.5 million on the budget to advertise the event. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. I take note. Deputy?
Speaker, thank you. Yes, I would like to differ with Councillor Ghosh. Obviously, I do hear what you say, but we must also keep in mind the amount of money that this will bring into our economy. I think the people who presented this from the Ironman spoke about 2,000 people that will help with this event. It's a humongous event. The money raised, and this is not their own saying. They had an independent person who did a survey after the last Ironman event in the 70.3 Ironman event in Durban. And the capital spent in Durban was in the vicinity of 63 million rand. So that was the income for Durban. Obviously, you've got international athletes joining and so forth. But in the same sentence or breath, I just want to also thank who already we did have a meeting with the MEC of Sport, Anru Mare, to ask them to assist. So we are trying to get their help, and also sent a letter to them. So thank you also for that letter. So we do agree, let's try and get the money. But if we can't get it, it's important that we do not lose this to another town or city, Speaker.
In business, they say it takes money to make money. Councillor Ghosh, I gave you so many chances this afternoon, and it's almost past 12.
Thank you.
Can you make it quick, please?
Yes, I will. Am I understanding our Deputy Mayor, Acting Mayor, correctly, that the hosting of this event is dependent on us spending 1.5 million of our money to advertise it? Why can Ironman not advertise their own event? And second of all, I hear that they've said 63 million was spent with the previous event. It's interesting to notice that they were able to clarify that, because when I asked for clarification on how much money had come into Mossel Bay from our Great Escape adventure through the tourism department's advertising, I was told that it's not possible to clarify that type of thing. So thank you very much, Speaker. But unless our Our hosting the event is dependent on that 1.5 million. I'm not going to change my vote.
Is there anyone else in it? There wasn't.
Speaker,
Yes.
I just might give some clarity. Obviously, we don't know what money came into the economy because it's frankly impossible. Because it's 100,000 of people or more visiting Mossel Bay during only December, visiting different places. This is one organizer who's arranging a event, and they can obviously control it easier because it's one event that's taking place only for 4 days. And like I've mentioned, they've paid an independent person to do the study for them. Obviously, the municipality did not spend any money to do such study, and that's why we don't have the answer. Yeah, so I just want to stop there regarding that argument.
Thank you. I want to stop this conversation. It's an unanimous vote, E46, with the exception of the ACDP. And that then becomes a decision of the Council of Mossel Bay. Thank you very much, councillors. The next one, E47. Establishment of a district food bank. We've had this all and we listened to a presentation. Unfortunately, there wasn't many people on this presentation for a food pantry that was for the municipalities in the district of, I almost said Eden, Garden Route. And can I have a proposer and a seconder for establishment of the food bank? Can you please roll up to the a little more, thank you. Nog. I want to come to the recommendation. Can you roll up more, please? Okay, then we're at the recommendation to council, aanbeveling aan die raad. Kies toch. Council do not approve the support of a district food bank as proposed by Gardner Road District Municipality. The second one, that council approves the establishment of a Mossel Bay food pantry to address food security in the Mossel Bay municipal area. Point 3, that Mossel Bay the food pantry be managed by a volunteer organization. That before such volunteer organization be appointed, an item be submitted to council that includes a proposed memorandum of agreement that will be concluded with a volunteer organization that will be managing the food pantry. A lot said, and then at point 5 that the proposed memorandum of agreement with a volunteer organization includes the functioning of the Mossel Bay food pantry and the roles and responsibilities of involved parties. That's the recommendation. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one? I see a hand of Councillor Groenewald and I see a hand of Older Lady Fortuin. Older Lady Fortuin.
Mr. Speaker, yes, thank you. Mr. Speaker, I would like to make a few amendments to the recommendations before I will be proposing this item for approval. If you allow me, Speaker.
I will definitely allow you.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, on point 1 under recommendation, I would like to propose that the one as standing be replaced with 1, that council approves the support for district food bank as proposed by Garden Route District Municipality. Point 2, that council support a monthly financial contribution to the district food bank on condition that the Garden Route District Municipality provide the necessary proof that the correct supply chain management procedures were followed in appointing the service provider, ECHO. Point number 3, that council approves the establishment of a Mossel Bay food pantry that can run parallel to the district food bank to address food security in the Mossel Bay municipal area. Point number 4, that the Mossel Bay Food Pantry be managed by a volunteer organization. Point number 5, that before such volunteer organization be appointed, an item be submitted to Council that includes the proposed memorandum of agreement that will be concluded with the volunteer organization that will be managing the food pantry. Number 6, that the proposed memorandum of agreement with the volunteer organization includes the functioning of the Mossel Bay Food Pantry and the roles and responsibilities of involved parties. Speaker, with the amendments of recommendation 1 to 6, I would like to propose that the amended recommendations be approved. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Ola Lady. Do I have a seconder for this amended recommendation?
Speaker, I'll second. Mark Furness.
Seconded by Mark Furness, and on my screen I read recording has started. So yeah, this is being recorded, and I say a hand of Councillor Gous. Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, the ACDP was not going to accept the recommendations that we not support a district food bank. So I'm very happy to see that we have now changed that, that we will be supporting the district food bank. I just don't understand why we are so determined to run a parallel food pantry. To me, it's a duplication that's completely unnecessary, and it can be abused for political ends. So I'm very happy to support the item simply by keeping it as being run by the district and not by the Mossel Bay Municipality having their own food bank. So unfortunately, if we're going to keep the recommendations that we're going to keep a duplication running as well, then ACDP will not support the item.
Do you believe in charity begins at home?
Yes, of course I do, Speaker, but this is my concern. Charity is at home. We collaborate with the district on so many issues, and now suddenly with this we don't want to. I believe it's a very good initiative. The person that did the presentation, I can't recall his name right now, has got many, many years of experience in doing this. He's completely bipartisan. He's not in any way affiliated with any kind of a political party. It's a passion that he's had for many years and done out of his own pocket initially. I thought it was a brilliant initiative for the district municipality to bring to our chambers. And in my opinion, it is addressing the need in Mossel Bay Municipality. We could stipulate that funds raised here and given to the district, as he said, as well, will then be spent only in Mossel Bay. So for us to now start up a food pantry is completely unnecessary costs.
Anyone else? If no one else,
Speaker, thank you, Speaker. Councillor Baron.
Baron.
I don't have a problem with a food bank or food pantry. The only problem that I have, and I know how this stuff works. Normally, it becomes a political interference, and then the war starts in the media. So I want to agree with Councillor Gous that we stick with the garden route. The strict municipality that has handled the strict food bank, and not for Mossel Bay alone. I don't want that war in Mossel Bay, please.
Now I have a proposal from Councillor Gous, and I have a proposal from Councillor Baron. I just want to hear what Older Lady Fortuin says, and then I will make a ruling.
Speaker, thank you, Speaker. I maintain my position with the recommendations. I just again want to highlight point 5, which is very clear, and I hear that the comments are being made about political interference. I don't want us as council to always refer to politics when collectively we aim to address the needs outside in the community, regardless of which political party peoples belong to. So Speaker, point 5 is very clear that there will be a process that will follow with an item to council with regards to a memorandum of agreement with such a volunteer organization in Mossel Bay. So Speaker, and the issue around a Mossel Bay food pantry running parallel with the district food pantry, I just want to say that there is a huge need, and if we can join, if we can have collaborative initiatives to address the needs of our people, why should we not do it? Because we have victims of fire, there's various issues now with the COVID-19 pandemic, and if we can extend a partnering hand to the district municipality, because every bit can help us to help our people. So Speaker, I maintain my position, and point 5 of my recommendation is very clear, and that process will be followed when the item comes to council. Thank you, Speaker.
I had talks against it and I had talks for it. I haven't had a counter proposal. My ruling will then be that this unanimous vote carries through with the exception of the Freedom Front Plus and the ACDP. Thank you very much, councillors. The next one.
Speaker, my apologies for interrupting you, Speaker. May I just ask for clarity? My understanding was that Councillor Baron was seconding my proposal that we maintain only a food pantry with the district and not with Mossel Bay Municipality as well. So should that not go to the vote?
Okay, but in that case, you make it easy for me, then we can vote on it. We do have then a proposer and a seconder.
Thank you, Speaker.
And then I'll put it to the vote. Those for it, and I'll open my papers just now. I think that's a fair decision then. When I read out your name, you know the procedure. You say for or against or abstain. Alderman Kotze. Our Deputy Mayor, is he still online? In the meantime, I'll go on.
Speaker, can you hear me?
Yeah, we're voting on the food pantry and
I've got it.
So
Speaker, thank you. Yes, I'm for the proposal of Elder Lady Fortuin.
Thank you very much. Councillor Baron, you were against it. You were the seconder.
Yes, I'm against.
Yeah, I've noted. Ratia Byman.
I'm for it, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Bobello.
I'm for it, Speaker.
For it, thank you. Councillor Boyson.
I'm for it, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Buddha.
Support this one, Speaker.
Supported by Councillor Buddha. Next one, Councillor Delamain.
Thank you, Speaker, for it.
Thank you. Older Lady de Klerk.
Sorry, sir, that's not my music. That's not my music. I'm for it. I'm for it. Thank you, sir.
Councillor Fifas.
Support, Speaker.
Yeah, you never knew we had a disc inside, huh? Councillor Furness.
Speaker, I'm for it, please.
Elder Lady Fortuin heeft het voorgestel.
I'm for it, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Goos, you made the proposal against.
Thank you, Speaker.
Alderman Groenewald.
Thank you, Speaker. I support the proposal as proposed by Elder Lady Fortuin.
Thank you, Alderman. Councillor Jansen.
Support it.
Thank you, Councillor Jansen. Councillor Jansen van Rensburg.
Speaker, I support it. Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Kamfer, have you been back in our midst? No. Councillor Cedric, will you please mute your microphone? Daar's dit Kannemeyer.
For Speaker.
4. Chaba's not here. Councillor Bandesi. Not here. Councillor Malombo.
Support, Speaker.
I did hear you laughing just now.
I support, Speaker.
Thank you very much, Councillor Meyer. Are you online again? No, then it's abstention. Councillor Mvumvu.
I'm supporting it, Speaker. Thank you.
Supported by Councillor Mvumvu. Councillor Reiter is not with us this morning. Councillor Siyoko. Councillor Julia. Not online. Then Van Dijk. Councillor Van Dijk.
Ek stem, Speaker.
Thank you. Then I'll give you the count just now. The tallies are 18 for, 2 against. Then there's, what is it, E47 carried through with a tally of 18 to 2. And yeah, thank you very much. That will be then a decision of our council. Thank you very much, councillors. Kan ons na die volgende laat een gaan, asseblief, Tersia?
Speaker, my apologies. May I just ask a question for clarity?
You're welcome.
Thank you, Speaker. I just want to ask that in the minutes, because this will now be recorded, if I understood you correctly, that 18 were for the proposal and 2 were against. But
That's right.
Well, the fact, yes, but then it looks like we don't support the idea of a food bank. Would I'd like to know is, will we please in the minutes state that the ACDP and the Freedom Front proposed that the district food bank be sufficient? Otherwise, it looks like we're just against the food bank, which is not the
Councillor,
truth.
yeah, you know what we usually do in minutes? We only minute the decision that was made on the recommendation.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking that we please include that, Speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next one. E48, no fee for use of Quantum Garbo Hall for female youth training and skilling. E48, can I have a proposer and a seconder?
Speaker,
You
I'll
went
propose.
through, though it was late, you know what it was for. Proposed by the Deputy Mayor.
Mark. Speaker.
Oh, is it Mark Furness? Sorry, Councillor Mark Furness. Then you the proposer. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, Speaker. Alderman Bayman will support it.
Supported by Alderman Bayman. I think this is a worthy cause. Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. I don't disagree with you. It is a worthy cause. As you state correctly, we did receive it quite late, and I was able to give it some attention. I could not, in the documentation that I received, see any justification for the fact that we were training only females in this regard. And for that reason, Speaker, I will not be supporting this item, not for the fact that we are giving the hall for free or that the training is welcome, but simply that men are being excluded completely. In my opinion, this is really trampling their Section 9 rights from the Constitution. And I would have liked to have the ACDP have seen that some men were offered representation and opportunity. Our young men are also in need of being upskilled and trained in order to make them employable. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, but you must now tell me what must I do with the other 98 sexes you called this morning? You said there was 100. Now, we discriminate now against 99 of those. Where
No,
do I
Speaker,
go with that now?
I'm not
Other
politically correct. We understand that biology says there are 2 genders, science says there's 2 genders, ideology says there's more than 100. So I'm not ideologically inclined to support that. I'm biblically and biologically inclined to support the science, which is 2 genders.
I'm only pulling your leg, man.
I know.
Okay, then it goes through as a vote, and with the what will the name now? What will I call the word now? With the ACP. I owe you a phrase, Councillor Gous, but your concerns was put on the minutes. That was with the exception of ACDP that have the problems with that. It's only a gender thing for women. It carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much. And I think we've got one last one. That one was only received last night, and it's minutes of the disciplinary board meeting held on the 24th of February. Usually I wouldn't put this through on a short notice like that, but now we can conclude some of our things that we'll have to look at in council, not in council, but in the municipality. So do I have a proposer and a seconder for the minutes of the disciplinary board that we can take cognizance of it and that we condone it? E49.
Speaker, I'll propose.
Thank you, Speaker. Take note. Thank you.
It was proposed by Councillor Alderman Groenewald, seconded by
Mark Furness.
Mark Furness. Thank you, Mark. You've been seconded by Mark. Anyone's on this one?
Yes, Speaker, Councillor Gous.
Yes, Councillor Gous.
Speaker, I'd like to just draw Council's attention to the fact that these specific expenditures are going to now be considered irregular, and we're being asked to condone it as a council. But I'd like to draw attention to the council that on several occasions, specifically Councillor Baron drew the attention to for the administration and the councillors that we were not following the procurement process correctly and that we were not accommodating other contractors as we should in contracts that are above a certain value. For that reason, Speaker, I'm not going to give my vote to condone the irregular expenditure, and so the ACDP will abstain.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Anyone else? Then E49.
Freedom Front Plus abstain.
Abstain. Okay, thank you, Councillor Baron. E49 then carries through as an unanimous vote with the exception of the Freedom Front and the ACDP. Thank you very much, councillors. This is the end of our day. And before we knock off, I was at I said I was at the Speakers Forum yesterday, and there were a lot of people complaining on the way councillors act in council, seeing that we're virtual at the moment. I want to thank you all. I want to thank you all for sometimes, yeah, you are frustrated with that, and sometimes I'm frustrated, but no one of you acted like a hooligan, and I want to thank you for that one. I see a hand of the MM. Do you want to conclude something? And then afterwards, I see a hand of Councillor Barney Groenewald. MM.
Thank you.
Speaker, my sincere apologies for coming on board so late after you've na die bot toegeslaan het. Speaker, in respect of item number 49, E49, I need to respond to the statements made. The irregular expenditure that is referred to here, it is irregular in terms of Section 9 of the specific act. I can't get the act number, the act name immediately. Is the Preferential Procurement Regulation, Section 9. That specific regulation has been declared unconstitutional by the Appeal Court of South Africa. We bring it to council because it is in the financial statements as irregular. But I think if we have to take the same matter to the AG today, the AG will have to have another opinion, and the AG will in effect agree with us, because the legislation that the AG relied on at the time of concluding this specific audit was in the meantime declared unconstitutional. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MM. Thank you for helping us out every time I need you, you're there. Thank you very much for that one. I want to conclude, Alderman Groenewald, is there something you want to add?
Yes, please. Thank you, Speaker. Like yesterday, we've heard at the Speakers Forum in KwaZulu-Natal, one councillor was charged, for instance, he assaulted another councillor in the chambers with a panga. So we are very civil. And I would like to congratulate you, Alderman Speaker, for the excellent way in which you presided over and how you managed this specific meeting as well. I think we should say thank you to you as our Speaker. You're doing an excellent job, and we appreciate the way that you presided over this meeting and all our meetings. Thank you so much, Speaker, for that. Secondly,
Thank you,
Speaker. Thank you, Speaker.
I will conclude with Councillor Jeanette Gous.
I would like to make a second, if I may, Speaker.
Sorry, Alderman, you can go on.
Thank you, Speaker. Now, I request after the council meeting that the administration must please assist us with the special caucus quickly just after the council meeting. And I request our municipal manager please to be in attendance. It will not take long. Thank you so much, Speaker.
Will you have a chat with a scribe for that one? Can you organize it, Alderman?
I can try. Sorry, Speaker, I don't have a direct number, but I'll try my level best. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ja, ek het raas het Gous, ons het nog 'n drankkomitee, ek wil graag afsluit. One last word of you.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I'd like to just reply to the MM's answer as well, and just ask him to take note of the fact that when our council made the decision they did, this legislation was not yet considered unconstitutional. So it was in transgression of the legislation at the time, and we never challenged it. And then secondly, Speaker, I'd like to concur with Alderman Groenewald. I do appreciate the way that you conduct our meetings, and I believe that the reason why they are so peaceable is because you are being fair and just in enabling us and allowing us an opportunity to raise our concerns, ask questions, and get feedback from our administration and other councillors. So we thank you for that, Speaker. And thanks also to my colleagues.
Thank you for the kind words. Then this meeting will be adjourned. I thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thank you, Speaker.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you.
Everybody.
Bye. Bye, Speaker. Liquor board.